Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. I'm Ian Douglas, the author of this website, Tech Interview Guide. You're all doing well. Sunday, October 30th. We were at the end of October already. Hard to believe, but we're there. We're all doing good. Today, I was going to go through some board questions and some resume reviews. We got 3 resumes. If you got questions, always feel free to drop those in chat. Address those kind of. Good to see you in chat. Thanks for today. Yeah, if you got questions, also going to be giveaway too. Exclamation point giveaway. We'll probably do 1 or 2 of those throughout the day today. Got a handful of things left over that I can sort of package up and mail out. One that I've been having a lot of fun with lately is that land speeder with that multicolor metal look. So how you're going to put that model together. Fun with that one. But got everything else packaged up and ready to send out. I just didn't get to the post. I'll get those out tomorrow. Yeah, hope you're all doing well. What else is going on? Not traveling this week for it's gonna feel nice to stay home, get caught up on some stuff. Got the second bamboo printer in. I got that printing on some stuff. Got these little astronaut figures. Figured those would be good. Postman themed astronauts. Doing those up in multicolor and having some fun with those. Yeah, the face mask on there is going to be that glow in the dark sparkle, charcoal gray sort of color. Having fun with that one. And then one we're basically printing like a giant version of that pumpkin. Got this pumpkin called Glut Glut. Basically printing through that. There we go. Got a big giant version of this guy printing, so it's printing kind of at this angle. But you can see, yeah, the eyeballs just starting to come in there. So I changed up the color for the pupil. It's going to be like a bright blue on the pupil. So should be sufficiently creepy, weird. We'll get that out on the porch for Halloween for tomorrow. Hope somebody doesn't walk off with it. But all I got going on today is just doing some printing, and the other printers are going to print off the kit cards giveaway. So get in on the giveaway in a little bit. Feel free to get your giveaway entry in. These are going to be for Mr. Deadpool. Basically set dollar amount. Is there a way to recycle the filament to use it again? Yeah, yes, and no. It's not very practical. Yes, you can. It is recyclable, but it's actually quite a lot of work to like grind it up into plastic. And we talked about this on a recent stream as well, that the different material that people put into the filaments to make sparkle or make them glow in the dark and whatever, they don't always play well together with other filaments. So mixing them all up and grinding it all up and trying to make a whole new filament out of that would just be like really muddy. It may not actually adhere very well. So it is possible. It's not very practical right now. Like you'd have to do a really, really careful job of separating out all the materials. Be sure that grinding up the same kind of material. Audio is cutting out again. I hope it's not cutting out again. Hopefully it's not cutting out, but let me know if it is. Tangible Studio, let me know. Heisenballs, good to see you as well. And Muckety Muck, thanks for dropping by. Feel free to get in on that giveaway. We'll do a giveaway drawing in a little bit. We got a couple of resumes to go through today, and we'll get in on some of those. Then I'll probably do like a giveaway like after each resume. We got 3 of those to go through, so we'll do 3 drawings. Really brief, but the audio kind of fades in and out. Okay, good to know. It's fading in and out for you as well. Okay, let me try and turn down the noise. See if that'll make a difference. Turn that down a little bit. Let me know if that makes a difference. Or I can just shut it off completely. If I shut it off completely, though, you're going to hear the printers in the background. But hopefully that'll be a little bit better. But let me know. Let me know if that's better or worse. We'll try from there. But thanks for letting me know. I do want to go through and like overhaul the audio again at some point. Or exactly how I'm going to make that work yet. My primary purchase for the month of November is going to be a new. I want to get like one really big monitor way back on the desk. Have like one on my work on instead of having multiple. It'll be a little bit easier practicing. After that, I'll have money for microphones and whatever if I want to rehaul or overhaul all of that again. But hopefully, we'll see how this goes. But let me know if it keeps cutting in and out, and I'll see if I can adjust it some more. Well, is that any better? Like, can someone let me know in chat? Like, is that better or is it just as bad as before, where it's fading in and out? How would you think? Keep it going. Still fading in and out. Someone let me know in chat. Bueller. Fading out so bad that you can't even hear me say, let me know in chat if you hear me. Still fading in and out. Still happening on your end. It was better at first. It's back to fading in and out. All right, let me turn it off completely. See if that makes a difference. You'll probably hear more of the background noise. Let me know if that still fades in and out because I didn't have any other properties. Like I have no. Oh, you know what I do? Let me try this. Now let me try this. Now let me try this. All right. Let me know if that's any better. I did have a noise gate on the microphone, and hopefully that's turned off now. So hopefully that'll be a little bit better. Techie Girl, good to see you in chat. How's your Sunday going? Hope you're doing very well. Go give Techie Girl a follow. Let me go see if I can do the that new shout out command for Techie Girl. Now with more R's. Yeah, go give Techie Girl a follow. Techie Girl's got a really great channel. Does a lot of really cool coding. Also does some gaming. Very, very fun to go hang out on Techie Girl's channel. So go give them a follow. Let me know if that microphone's any better. Yeah, you're welcome for the shout out. Absolutely. Love supporting other streamers. Let me know if the audio is a little bit better with that. I think I've found the problem, and I hope that that's going to fix it now, kind of going forward. But let me know if the audio is still fading in and out, and hopefully that will resolve that problem, and we can carry on. It's a little better, still not great. Audio is totally cutting out. Oh man, that was supposed to make it better. All right, I'm going to turn off all the noise removal. I need to go double check one thing. I'll be right back. All right, let's try this again. Audio is still fading in and out. I don't think noise gate is it. Noise gate helps with peaking. Sounds like an issue with the gain. All right, well, I can try turning the gain up a little bit more. I just don't want to turn it up too much. I'll try bumping that up a little bit, see if that'll help. Yeah, I had Devilbird come in and help with the video, so I look better on the camera when the camera works. I think I need to find like an audio engineer and help me come in and figure out all the noise, EQ, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get there one of these days. I'm doing this for a year and a half, and it feels like the last like 3 or 4 months especially have been really bad for audio, and I don't know why. So hopefully that'll fix it. Let me know if that's any better or if it's starting to peak. Looks like the audio level might be peaking a little bit, so I'll try turning it down a touch, but let me know if that's better. Let me know if that's still fading in and out or if that's okay. All right, so we've got some questions in Discord. It looks better. Okay, cool. Thanks everybody. Appreciate it. And we've got a couple of resume reviews. So after each resume review, I'm going to do the giveaway drawings. So do an exclamation point giveaway in chat and get in on those. And each entry that you've been kind of collecting all month is going to get you an entry to maybe get the 3D printed Deadpool. This is all 3D printed. There's no paint on this. This is just filament, including the little goof up on his shoulder over here where it printed a little bit of black on the tan over there. But this is all 3D printed filament or a Lego kit, and I'm going to be doing that drawing Tuesday night. So I'm going to be streaming today. I'll probably stream an extra stream tomorrow for Halloween. I'm going to dress up as a late 40s programmer who likes hoodies. That is to say, I'm not dressing up for Halloween, but I will be on. I'll probably stream tomorrow just to give everybody like an extra entry, and then Tuesday night we won't be taking any new entries, but Tuesday night's going to be the giveaway, and so I'm looking forward to that. So feel free to get in on those giveaways. Spooky stream, maybe not so spooky, but we'll see. I might hang some extra lights or something. I don't know. We'll see. Asera 286, good to see you as well. The scariest costume, yeah. I saw a really good clip or a good quote the other day. It said, "My wife wanted to do something really scary for Halloween, so she's walking around with a tape measure, asking, 'Is this a load-bearing wall?'" So it's like, yeah, that would do it for me for sure. It's like, let's tear down a wall. Let's completely renovate the house. And yeah. But yeah, the 3D printers are going pretty good. So we'll get those kit cards. We got Star Wars things. We got Star Trek things. So if you're into Star Trek, we got like Deep Space Nine models and things like that. And they all come flat as a kit like this. And you basically just break all the parts off, and they'll come with instructions to assemble it yourself. So we've got all kinds of like TIE fighters and TIE interceptors and X-wing fighters, and we got the Land Speeder and Millennium Falcons. Or if you're more into the holiday style of things, we've got like snowflakes that I'm going to drop all over the place in all different colors. And I've got like little tree ornament things that you can put together. They're lots of fun. Or if you just want toys, we've got things like the catapult. It's a little 3D catapult kit that you put together. It's great if you've got a furry little friend living at your home and you want to like fling treats across the room. They're fantastic. So get a clipboard, tell people you're from the IRS. That would do it too, for sure. Sneaky Turtle, good to see you. Thanks for the first time chat. So yeah, you do need to follow just so that you get notified of when I'm streaming so that you can come back and get more entries. So every daily entry is going to get you an entry into the Tuesday night like drawing for all of October. So so you do need to follow the channel, and then you can do bang giveaway. And I'm sending these things for free. My kid's going trick-or-treating, maybe. So originally our youngest said he was not going to go trick-or-treating. And then last night decided he wanted to go trick-or-treating, and could you hurry and like get me a costume? And we're like, not that soon. So we went out and tried shopping for some, and then our oldest decided he wanted to go trick-or-treating again. He's 14, but he really wanted to go again. We're like, fine, dude, we'll find something for you. So now I think our youngest is going to stay home and hand out candy. We don't even know. But I'm going to stay down here in my basement and just not worry about candy. I'll let others deal with candy this year. So normally I'm the one out there like in the lawn chair, like handing out candy with the lights down the driveway and stuff. But I think I'll probably hang the lights in here and I'll just do some streaming. I don't really have any scary games to play or anything like that. But here comes the youngest. Hello.
Hello.
What's going on, youngest?
Not much.
Never trust an atom. They make up
everything.
everything. Great shirt. All right, cool. So we got some resume reviews that we're going to go through, and then yeah, if you've got questions about tech and career help, advice, stuff that I can offer along the way, please feel free to drop those in chat as we go. Jay Brinker, good to see you as well. Jay Brinker has been the recipient of many of our giveaways. I've got all of yours packaged up and ready to go out. I just didn't get to the post office yesterday, so we'll get all those out. Wizard, good to see you as well. All right, well, let's jump in on some resumes here. So per usual, I'll be doing like the clip stuff. So you'll see stuff happening over here in chat just while I'm going through and doing the clips and so on. All right, so the first resume that we're going to go through was anonymized for John Doe. Let me go get the notes on this one. They said, I'm searching for an opportunity at a big tech company like Fang, Stripe, Reddit, Uber, Airbnb, and so on as an SRE. So far, I can't even get to a phone screen. Also, do we need to change our resume for different tiers of companies, like one for startups and one for big tech? These are all fantastic questions. So let's address that right to start off with. I say no matter what size of company you're going to be aiming for, you need to be able to show the value that you bring. For FANG companies, they're going to care a lot about the value that you bring from a high volume, high scalability point of view, or that you're solving a problem that's going to be interesting to them. I think just trying to do smaller sized web apps that don't have like a social component or things like that, they're not going to stand out as much to those companies, and so they may not be as interested in smaller projects. For an SRE type role, that's site reliability engineer, you're going to be getting into like kind of the DevOps realm and system administration and things like that, and so there's going to be a slightly different take on what you're going to need to sort of present to them. And I would say the big thing that's going to stand out to them are going to be like containerization and cloud. Like what have you done in the cloud? How have you managed infrastructure in the cloud and infrastructure as code and things like that? And so just by seeing the skills block up top here, I can see a lot of that going on. So let's start by zooming out. I like to zoom out on resumes and just kind of see the overall use. Now, there's a lot of text here in the middle, and this is going to be really hard to kind of get through. Some of these bullet points are extremely long. So the first thing I would do is probably reduce the amount of text that you have on here, or make it a little bit more impactful as far as the information that you're presenting. So I would work on that a little bit, and we'll get into some specifics here. Now they've changed their company names to like the size of the company instead of like, I mean, normally, yeah, obviously we wouldn't be putting like the number of employees on the resume, but just as far as company size and so on. And I'll go into why that might be helpful or appropriate. So technologies: Linux, Kubernetes, Azure, AWS, Yandex Cloud, Terraform, Ansible, like all of these are going to be really good tools for those kinds of companies. Now, if you're going for a FANG level company, you may want to show that you've got experience using their specific cloud technology. So if you're applying at Google, then you want to show some Google Cloud. If you're if you're going for Amazon, you've got AWS on here, you've got Azure on here. But if you're going for a job at Amazon, you probably want to put all the AWS stuff at the front and put Azure like way down at the end of the list, because you want to make it look like you focused more on their technology. So that would be the first thing I would do, is focus on the technologies that company is going to care about. If you're applying for a job at Microsoft, keep Azure where it is and move AWS like way down the chain. If you're applying at Google, you don't have any Google stuff on here at all. And so maybe doing a little bit of work in the Google Cloud and Firebase and things like that, and put some of that on here would be helpful. Aside from that, a lot of tooling like Kafka and Elasticsearch and things like that, where you're getting into like monitoring tools like Prometheus, and getting into other tools like HA Proxy and so on for like load balancing and things like that. These are all fine, but I would probably want to, like I said, promote the cloud platforms where those companies are hosting things. Now, in their notes, they talked about Stripe and Reddit and Uber and Airbnb, and some of those may be on AWS or Google Cloud. So you may want to do some research on which cloud architecture those companies are using, or do they have their own? If they have their own, then there's not much you can do around like trying to get into their infrastructure. But if, say, for example, if Stripe were using AWS, again, you want to really promote what you've done on AWS. So finding out those bits of information could be much more helpful. I had a question in chat. K8S is Google? I'm not sure. Off the top of my head, I don't know. Kubernetes. I don't know that that's specifically Google, but it might be. But I don't know enough about it, to be honest. And then to stand out as an SRE, their most recent job, they've been there for a couple of years doing an SRE role. Before that, they were an engineer, did that for a little over a year. Before that, they were an engineer, and they did that for a little over 2 years, it looks like. So, yeah, maybe 2.5 years or so. So a good amount of experience as an actual software developer, and only a couple of years as an SRE. So I would probably target like a lower end SRE role, like an L3, L4. Maybe like L4 might be pushing it if you've only got 2 years of experience as an SRE. Well, I guess 2.5 years. So yeah, maybe L3, L4, I think would be appropriate as far as like what level to go for those kinds of companies. And if you're curious what L4 and L3 mean, Then you can go check out levels.fyi. This site has a pretty good explanation of different salary levels and what it means at different kinds of companies and so on. Like, what do those levels actually mean as far as like, like an L3, L4 is kind of like intermediate sort of level, where L5 is getting into more senior level, L6 is staff and so on. But again, it also depends on the company. So you might be able to come in here. Let's see if Uber or Stripe or someone like that is on here. Uber's on here. And let's see if we can pull up Stripe on here. Yep, Stripe is also on here. So yeah, so it kind of gives you an idea of like where those experience bands sort of overlap and so on. So, and again, these are looking more for like software engineer roles, but their SRE roles are going to be kind of leveled out the same way as well. So something to think about there. Cool. So identified and fixed root causes of production incident, wrote postmortems, facilitated improvements. So again, telling me that you've done something is good. Telling me the impact of that is going to be better. And again, some of these are really, really long and really wordy. Redesigned logging infrastructure to enable log stream processing and to solve scalability and availability issues. Achieve this by changing communication approach from synchronous direct to storage to asynchronous message based. Ultimately, this allowed, so this is where you're getting an impact, allowed us to handle cross data center network partitions, auto scale based on log indexing lag, and implement new services to gain real-time insights from logs such as anomaly detection. So that's a lot of words. It does get the point across though. But I think that you could probably shorten some of these a little bit and highlight the kinds of things that are going to be more important to some companies than others. But I think you're doing a pretty good job talking about the impact on some of these. This first one though, like this is a thing that I did. And it facilitated improvements, but you don't really quantify it, and you don't really like tell me the impact of it. Improve performance, availability of SLOs and metrics, perform hash and functional partitioning of metrics ingestion, allowed us to handle high cardinality use cases, which are not supported well by common metrics gathering approaches. So again, you're showing an impact here, and these words are going to mean something to the hiring manager. These words aren't going to mean anything at all to the HR team and the recruiter. They're probably not going to understand what some of this stuff means. But I think that that's okay. To some degree, I think that that's okay. For the engineering roles, because you're applying more for an SRE role and less around the SRE or less around the software developer kind of role, I would probably reduce what you're sharing here on these roles. So, participate in the development of a web application. I mean, you kind of tell me that just by being an engineer, so you don't really need to be redundant on this. Refactored the entire API schema to be statically typed, which allowed us to find problems at compile time, reduce the need for a versioned API. Okay. I mean, as a business, I would still want a versioned API anyway, but because you typically want versioning on your APIs anyway. But design and implemented entire infrastructure based on cloud managed services, focused on cost efficiency, simplicity, maintainability with infrastructure as code approach. Again, I think you could simplify the wording on this a little bit. Like, it does get the point across of what you did. Like, it gives a lot of description, but I think that you could reduce the overall content on here that still gets the point across without sounding buzzwordy. So yeah, since you're going to be moving for an SRE role and not around software development, I would reduce this text a little bit, and maybe that would give you the opportunity to come up with like more bullet points here, so that you don't have like gigantic sentences as bullet points, because bullet points got their name by being short and impactful, not having like multiple sentences. Bullet points were not meant to be grammatically correct. So finding a way to sort of rearrange this content a little bit to where you can say, I did a thing, this is the impact. I did a thing, this is the impact. I did a thing, this is the impact. And have like multiple bullet points here. Because when you think about the number of lines of text that you've got in here, 5, 7, 9, 12, 16, you've got 20 lines of text here. So potentially you could have 20 bullet points and still take up the same amount of room, and only go like 2/3 or 3/4 of the way across. instead of like having these multiple wrapping text blocks, because I guarantee not everybody's going to be reading all of this stuff. And so you need to get away you need to find a way to get the point across very succinctly and very quickly. That as I'm scanning through, I see the bullet point and I can immediately see this is what I did and this is the impact that it had, without having to read like multiple really long sentences to go, oh, okay, this is what you did. And so try to condense that a little bit. I think that will be appreciated on those resumes. And then again, from a skills point of view, like it's good you're showing your programming, showing the languages and so on. But from a technology point of view, try to highlight some of the technologies that those companies are going to care about. And again, you'll customize that list of skills based on which company you're applying at. So you mentioned FANG companies, Stripe, Reddit, Uber, Airbnb, and so on. You'll kind of rearrange these to talk about which of these technologies are going to be more important to them, and things that are less important, like put down at the end of the list. So like the first, 5 or 6 things in the list need to be technologies that they're going to care about in their job post at that specific company. That's what's going to stand out most to them. Cool. All right. Well, that was resume number 1. Robo also asks, when you have more experience in the industry, is listing the number of employees not listing many personal projects? So in this case, they didn't, because they were anonymizing the resume, they just put like the size of the company instead of the name of the company. But on a resume, you would actually be putting the name of the company, and saying, they work remote at it and this was their role and so on. No, you typically would not put the size of the company on here. And in this case, because they're going for an SRE role, like a site reliability engineer, which is kind of like DevOps and system administration and deployment and things like that, it's harder to come up with a project to promote on a resume for that. And so you really have to rely on like communicating well. This is what I did at the company. These were the tools that we used. This was the impact that it had. And having like a really good skills block up here, because SREs don't really have projects. If you're a software engineer, yes, you're going to have projects and you can promote that. But again, at a certain point in your career, you don't even need to talk about the projects on your resume anymore, because your experience is going to kind of speak for your skills more than your projects do. So I would say by the time you've got probably 4 or 5 years of experience as a software developer, you probably don't need projects on your resume, unless you're going to completely change the technologies that you use and you want to use a completely different technology. Then it's helpful to have a project in that other technology, just to show that, hey, I really want that job that you have in C#. I don't have a history of C# professionally, but this is a project that I'm doing in C# to sort of like understand the language and use the language. Full Snable asks, what if you contribute to common DevOps SRE tools? Then yeah, if you're contributing to tooling and like doing pull requests and things like that, then yeah, you can absolutely put those on here. The other thing that I noticed on the resume is there's no contact info. I'm just kind of noticing that now. Like, you definitely want to have contact info. I'm wondering whether John Doe just scrubbed it off just for the sake of anonymizing the resume. But yeah, you would typically have your name and phone number, your email address, probably a GitHub profile. Although for an SRE, again, GitHub is less important because there's less that you can show unless you are doing contributions to, like popular tooling. Like, if I believe Kafka is open source. So like if you're doing pull requests to Kafka and like improving that code, that would be fine. But you're going to be improving that code by being a software developer. And if this person is going for an SRE role, then is it important to show that level of skill? I mean, it shows that you really care about that tool because you want to contribute to that tool, but it shows that you're exercising your software development skills where they're trying to promote themselves as an SRE. So that would be the thing that you sort of want to balance out there. Fool said, I switched from front end to embedded programming. My C++ on the side projects was helpful. Yeah. So again, if you're completely changing like the realm of what you're doing and where you want to go, it's common to have projects, then yes, by all means do that. So like if this person was going the other way around, they had been an SRE and they wanted to become a developer, then yes, I would encourage them to have projects on there that show that they understand software development cycles and the sort of the common tooling that we would use as developers and the common types of patterns like auth patterns and just, I mean, just general design patterns that we would expect a software developer of their level to know. Cool. Let's switch over to here for a sec. Just want to catch up on chat. Robo also asks, for LinkedIn's About section, would you say that a few bullet points summarizing your impact might be more effective than sentences, or is that section better for sentences? For the About section on LinkedIn, I mean, you could do it as bullet points. The search engine is going to pick up everything in there either way. I would say the first block of the About section should probably be sentences. Since anybody looking at your profile, like they're going to see that first little bit as the sentences, and then like a click for more or click to read more kind of link. And when they click on that, then they'll see everything. If you do things in bullet point format there, like the search engine is still going to pick up on the keywords that you put in there regardless. So having keywords, whether they're in a sentence or in a bullet point, won't make a difference. I would say most people don't read the whole About section unless they're really interested in your profile, and then they're going to go through and like read through it a little bit more. But most of the time, these recruiters are just doing a search saying, who knows Ruby and JavaScript, and they find your profile, and then they just reach out and they're like, your profile looks like a great fit, even though I only read like 2% of it. They're literally just skimming through going, yep, I see where they've used that on the job, or I see where they have that in their education, and that is a good enough fit for me to at least start that conversation. If they did a little more due diligence, then they might see like, oh, hey, this person is actually like the kind of person we want on the team. Like a year ago, I started learning React, and I had that on my LinkedIn profile, and I actually didn't finish it, but I had React on my LinkedIn profile. Well, over the past month or two, I've had a ton of recruiters reach out going, hey, you look like this perfect fit for this job where we require 5 years of React experience. It's like, I don't even have 1 year of React experience. Like I started learning it just to learn the concept of it, but I don't use it day to day. I don't specify anywhere in my profile that I use React on a daily basis or that I've used it for 5 years. So no, I don't have 5 years of experience. And that's where recruiters kind of fall short. They're doing keyword searches. They see how much experience you have, and they think, oh, you've got more than 5 years of experience and you happen to know React, so you must be a perfect fit for this job that needs 5 years of React, without actually doing their due diligence. And that's why sometimes recruiters get a bad name. Recruiters that work for a particular company tend to be a little more careful about those kinds of things, but the third-party agency recruiters that are trying to submit you for a job, they tend not to be as diligent about reading through your profile and that sort of thing. So, Robosa says, just trying to get an idea of what would be more eye-catching for people to read. I would say like, because they're only going to see like that first, couple of sentences anyway, before it kind of does the ... click to read more kind of thing. You can kind of play around with the number of characters before it actually throws in the ... I don't know the number off the top of my head. I'm going to guess it's somewhere around like 250 bytes. And it's up to you whether you think a sentence is going to catch their eye more. Like if you're really good at like writing a really catchy sort of statement, then yeah, I think you could totally put sentences in there. If you think bullet points are going to catch their attention better, then throw some bullet points in there. Do some A/B testing. Do your own testing on which one you think is going to be better, and give that a shot. Fool Snable says, as someone that remembers the dark ages in Scandinavia, I don't get upset about recruiters reaching out for me for jobs. I mean, I do. I get really annoyed by people that that reach out to me when I clearly don't have specific things. And Fool says they do keyword searching. So even if you say I hate Java, you're going to get Java job offers. Exactly. Because you're just hitting on keywords. Like for me, I had like, I took this Udacity program to learn a little bit of React. And they're like, oh, React and you've got, 20 plus years of experience. You must be amazing at React. It's like, no, like I don't say anywhere on my profile that I actively use React. I took a course in React and that's it. And so I recently went through my LinkedIn profile and I took all the React stuff off because I'm tired of getting reached out to for jobs for React when, I wasn't learning React to get a job as a React developer. It's not what I want to do. I just wanted to learn it enough to understand what React was. So anyway, I said after each resume, we're going to do a giveaway. So if you haven't already, do !giveaway. we're gonna go do some of that right now. So giveaway. Let's see how many people we got on our giveaway here. We only have 5 entries. We got 19 people in chat. We only have 5 entries, so feel free to do exclamation point giveaway in chat, and we'll give everybody a moment for that, and then I'll go through and I'll do a drawing, and then we'll do another resume review, we'll do another drawing, we'll do another resume review, do another drawing, and then we'll wrap up for the day. So still saving your luck. I mean, saving your luck for a job is fine, but you know, we're doing this drawing on Tuesday. So, hey, Pantrack X, good to see you. Thanks for dropping by chat. Always curious how people find the channel. If you do want to do Bang Giveaway, I do ask that you follow the channel. It's the only requirement. You don't need to be a subscriber or anything like that. And the only reason that I ask you to follow is so that you get notification of when I go live, so that every time I stream, you can come in and you can get another daily entry. Because each of the daily entries, like the entry that you're going to do today, is going to count towards the monthly giveaway that I'm doing in October, or for the month of October. We're doing that Tuesday night. So yeah, thanks for the follow. And the giveaway, we're going to be giving away a 3D printed Deadpool bust. So this is all 3D printed in filament. There's no paint on this anywhere. So that's going to be one of the things that we're giving away. And then another gift that we're giving away is a Lego kit. And I'm going to let you pick the Lego kit. So up to a dollar amount, I will let you pick a Lego kit. And we will choose those Tuesday night. But Tuesday night, we're not taking new entries. We're not going to be taking in new entries on Tuesday. So only the entries on like days like today are going to count towards Tuesday. So Robo Oso's got the right idea. Doing Bang entries will tell you how many entries you have for the monthly giveaway. They've got 5 entries so far. So they've been by for 5 streams this month, and appreciate that. So yeah, definitely get in on there. Wizard found me using Spotify podcasts. That's awesome. That's really great. Where can you send in your CV for review? So you can send me the resume review over at this link. If you send that over, I can do the review for you today. If you'd like, if you want to send that over. I do ask that you anonymize, at a minimum, anonymize your phone number and your email address. But feel free to anonymize as much as you like on there. If you want to anonymize your name, if you want to anonymize like where you live and things like that, totally okay to do. If you don't want to anonymize anything and just leave it as is, I mean, that's at your discretion. You're going to check a little checkbox saying that, yes, I agree that, this is going to get shown online. If you want a private resume review, I do charge money for that, but all that money is going into this pot of money up here, and then I'm matching all those funds. And so just know that any subs, any bits, any resume review money, all of that is going into the Diversity and Tech fundraiser, and then I'm matching all of that money as well. Pantrax found me from software and game development. Awesome. Appreciate that. I'm always curious where people happen to find me from. So thanks for dropping by. So just to give you some background, I'm the author of this website, techinterview.guide. I've been in the tech industry for a long, long time, and I'm basically here helping people with interview preparation, career advice, how to build resumes, how to get noticed by companies, all the way through like, how do I research and apply to companies? How do I get through the interviews? And then how do I negotiate job offers? I've grown an extra head. Yep. How about that? Hello. Hello there, mini programmer. Hey, Yayo KB3. Good to have you in chat as well. So yeah, feel free to give us a follow and then do exclamation point giveaway. We'll get you in on the giveaway. So the giveaways that I'm doing during the day are little kit cards like this. This is a land speeder from Star Wars, but it's in a kind of the shiny metal kind of color. So depending on how you put it together, you get different kinds of effects. We've got lots of Star Trek based kit cards, and I put some of them together, but we've got like Deep Space Nine and Enterprise. We've got like the original series Enterprise. We've got the newer one from Next Generation. And then for Star Wars, we've got things like Millennium Falcons and TIE Fighters and X-Wings and things like that. We've also got holiday-themed ones. So we've got like Christmas trees, and we've got little snowflake ornaments in lots of different colors. So little snowflakes and things like that. And basically, I'll stick these in an envelope, send them off your way. So that's what the giveaway is for today. And then every entry into the giveaway is an entry to get a 3D printed Deadpool bust. So this weighs about a pound. This is a pound of filament. So it's about 500 grams and change, 560 grams, I think, if you're doing metric. Um, and so I'm giving away Deadpool, and I'm also giving away a Lego kit on Tuesday. So all the entries for the giveaway today are for like the Star Wars, Star Trek, stuff. Or you can do like a little toy thing, like a little 3D printed catapult. And this all comes in a kit, and you basically take all the pieces apart and you like put the thing together yourself. And I'm sending like instructions and stuff in the envelope as well, so you know how to assemble these things. Um, but yeah, so each entry for a giveaway like today, I'm going to do another stream tomorrow. That'll be your last chance to get in on the entries for Deadpool and the Lego kit. Because Tuesday night when we do the drawing, we're not taking new entries. Excuse me. We're not taking new entries on Tuesday. Tuesday is just, hey, these are the people that entered. We've got 150 or so entries, so you've still got a pretty good chance of getting one of those prizes. And so you've only got today's stream and tomorrow's stream because Tuesday night we're doing the drawing. So feel free to get in on it today. You do need to follow the channel, and that's just so you get notified of when I go live tomorrow. But get in on the giveaway for sure. And I am sending these like anywhere right now. So the Deadpool I'll make sure is packaged extremely carefully with lots of bubble wrap and things like that. The Lego kit will probably ship direct from Lego, so anywhere that they can ship. And I'll be in contact with the person that gets that giveaway. And if Lego can't ship to them, I'll try and order something through Amazon. And if that doesn't work out, then I'll just send an Amazon gift card of that amount of money or something like that. So cool. All right. So feel free to get in on that giveaway. I'm going to do another resume review. And then as soon as that resume review is done, we're going to do another drawing. So you've got another 10, 15 minutes or so to get in on the giveaway while I go over here and pull up our next resume. So that was that one. And the next one. All right. So let's go back over to this screen. You have 2 interviews tomorrow. That's awesome. Well, good luck. Good luck tomorrow. So let me switch back to here. So my advice, if you've got interviews tomorrow, here's my advice. By now, you already know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. Trying to cram like last minute knowledge into your brain is actually not going to be as effective as you think. So my recommendation is like take a break, go outside, enjoy some sunshine if it's still sunny where you live. Go for a walk, get some exercise, hydrate, drink a lot of water, like lots of water. When you get up tomorrow, have a very nutritious breakfast. Your brain runs on sugar, and so you need natural sugar, not artificial sweeteners and stuff. So eat some fruit if you can, or find some way of getting some protein into your body and some healthy carbs. And just from a nutrition point of view, take care of your body first thing tomorrow morning. But hydrate a lot today. That's going to help flush a lot of stuff out of your body, out of your system, and your frame of mind will be much clearer for tomorrow. So good luck tomorrow. 2 interviews in one day is a lot. But yeah, by now you already know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. So trying to cram last minute knowledge is not going to be helpful. Reviewing what you already know is helpful, but trying to learn something new the day before the interviews is not going to be helpful for you. So just focus on what you know. Focus on what you already know. And like I said, just rest, relax your brain, hydrate a lot. And then tomorrow when you get up, have a really good breakfast. And yeah, you got this. We believe in you. You're going to do great on this. See Films, good to see you. Thanks for dropping by as well. So if you want to get a resume review over to me, you can do that. I've also got a resume sample that you can look at if the voice command works. Will the resume sample show up in chat? There's the resume. So this is a document that you can go take a look at. If you want like little snippets of ideas, you can go look at this last link that just showed up in chat here. And these are just some samples that I put together on a resume of how you can do like a contact block and how you can build a skills block and how you can talk about projects or employment and things like that. You know, like it's not meant to be a resume format to actually go use. It's just a sample of like, go grab this little bit or go grab that little bit. So appreciate all the follows. So I'll give you a little hello. And thanks for the follows. I'm trying to get that automated to where when you follow me, it automatically makes the lights blink, but something broke in there, so I gotta like manually hit a button for that to happen. But appreciate the follows. So yeah, go ahead and follow. Do the exclamation point giveaway, and we'll be doing another giveaway drawing here in just a moment as soon as I get through this resume. So for this person's note that they sent in, they said, "I'm currently employed. I'm looking for a new gig. Money is the biggest factor. Also, our company is going through quite a bit of change. I'm not sure I like where it's going. I took a few pointers from your example resume and rewrote this resume. I feel pretty good about it. The only question I have is whether or not to include my non-technical work experience." Cool. Well, let's dive in on this one a little bit. So, looks like they're in the Denver area. So one bit of advice that I tend to give people is, if you're looking for a job in a specific location where you're expected at some point to go back to the office, then put a location on the resume. If you intend to work remotely, putting your location on there can let them know like which time zone you're in. It might be more helpful just to list what time zone you're in on the resume itself if you are looking specifically for remote work. If you are looking to relocate, it can actually subject you to geographic bias. Like if this person was looking for a job out in, say, New York or California, they're going to look at this resume and go, okay, well, they may ask us to pay for relocation. Do we want to pay for relocation for this person? And if they decide, nah, that's kind of far, then they might actually pass on your resume just because they don't want to pay for relocation, which is kind of it sounds like a rotten thing to do from a company point of view, but you never know what's going through their mind. Like their job is to hire somebody for as little as possible, both from a salary point of view and total cost of like acquisition of getting you in as an employee. And that includes things like sign-on bonuses and moving expenses and things like that. So putting your location on your resume can subject you to geographic bias. If you are looking for a remote job, it's okay to list on there, I guess, if you really want them to know where you live. But I'd say as that first introduction, you could probably just leave the location off. Now, in this person's case, they're actually listing that they're working currently at a company in Denver. And so a lot of people are going to make that sort of presumption. But again, it depends on whether you're looking for a remote job or not. So just looking through really quickly, as far as layout goes, the layout's pretty clean. I don't think that there's very much that I would suggest. I mean, there are a few things I would change overall from a layout point of view. I typically would put these locations next to the name of the company and not over here on the side. And then I would typically shorten the months down to 3-letter months. Just that way, like this one is like, one length. This one is much longer. Down here, this is only a single month when they graduated. And so it looks even shorter. And so like standardize on the date format, I think could be a little bit better, but we'll talk about some of the things that I spot there. So they anonymize their phone number. They got their GitHub on here. I would say if you have a LinkedIn profile, get the LinkedIn profile in here as well. From a font size point of view, their name is one font size. Their email and everything here is another size. And their headers and all of this other stuff looks to be all one other size. And so there's some standardization that I would probably do here. The first thing I would do is just highlight all the text on the whole page and just make everything 10-point font. From there, go back and change your name to be like 18 to 20-point font. Change all these headings to be 12 or 14-point font and leave everything else at 10-point. So all of this contact information up here is going to be 10-point font. All the text in here is going to be 10-point font. All of this will be 10-point font. But these headings will like stand out a little bit more because they're going to be slightly bigger. Make these like 12-point font and they'll be just a little bit bigger. Put them all in caps. So they got this one all in caps, this one all in caps. This one's not caps. And then when we get back down here to education, these are all capitalized. So standardize on those. When we think about the dates here, you've got month, comma, year. Here you just have month, space, year. Here you've got month, period, space, year. So you got to look consistent on that. So try to spot those kinds of things. You want to be consistent about how you're laying out your dates and so on. From a skills and tools point of view, I like how they kind of broke things up to languages and frameworks and databases and so on. One thing though, if you're relatively early in your career though, is these things are only taking up like half of the width of the page. And so I might try to find a way to combine some of these a little bit. Like I might do languages and frameworks together and say, you've got Java, you got TypeScript, JavaScript with React.js and Svelte and React Native, and then, put Groovy over here with Java and then Python and Rust or something like that. JavaScript has a capital S I forget if TypeScript also has a capital S, but like watching out for those things. Postgres does not have a capital G. So understanding like how to do these things would be helpful. You've got UI frameworks, and then you've got like backend frameworks. I would just combine them all together and just say frameworks. People that will care whether you are front end or back end, they'll know the differentiation between them. From a tooling point of view, SQL is not really a tool. SQL is actually a language. Oh, you've got SQL Management Studio. I got you. Profiler, Git, IntelliJ. Most of the time, people don't care what editor you use. And so listing IntelliJ and Android Studio and Eclipse, limited experience, like don't sell yourself short on this kind of stuff. Don't highlight weakness. Don't highlight what do they call it? Like deficiencies. So you either know Eclipse or you don't. So if you don't feel that you know it enough to speak to it in an interview, then don't put it on the resume at all. Most of the time, though, they're not going to care what editor you use. A lot more companies are actually caring to see Postman on there. If you use Postman for API development, put that on here. It's definitely becoming a tool that people are seeing more. Test-driven development, that could also kind of lump up in here with other libraries and so on that you use. The fact that you've only got 2 of them, okay, it's fine, but what other test-driven development have you done? Like, are these literally the only TDD tools that you've used? If so, 2 of them, I would probably find a way to combine them a little bit more. Because again, you're only taking up like half of the width of the page here, and it kind of leaves like a lot of this empty space over here. It kind of leaves me desiring to see a little bit more over here on this side. But you also don't want to go to a 2-column format, because that sort of breaks from the format of the overall page. So I would try to find a way to combine some of the stuff into like longer lines. I think it'll serve you a little bit better. And then someone said there's a typo on SQL Management Studio. Yes, Studio is spelled incorrectly. You have an extra I in Studio. Full Snable says in chat, some people may care about IDE knowledge. Some will, but most won't. Honestly, like if you put like, oh, I use VS Code, it's like, I don't care what you use. It's like, if you tell me that you can write code, I presume you've got some kind of code editor that you use, but I don't care whether you use Vim or Emacs or VS Code or Notepad++. Like, I really don't care. If you can get the job done, that's all I care about. Like, from a hiring manager's point of view, it really doesn't matter. Now, if it's something where you only know how to use a tool that needs like a paid license and you expect me to pay for a license, then that could be helpful. Like IntelliJ is going to be a paid license. Android Studio is not. So that could be a deciding factor as well. But I mean, honestly, IntelliJ is like $100 a year. Like, I'm not going to think twice about that. Now, if I need to buy $100 license for all 1,000, people on my team, then that becomes a significant expense. But that's something that I'm probably factoring in as a business anyway. So again, I'm not too worried about knowing which IDE you use. Muckety Muck says, I use Microsoft Notepad. I mean, if that's what makes you feel like a real programmer, then you do you. And then work experience for fleet coordinator assistant, basic maintenance on vehicle fleet. So this is where they were asking, like, should I put my non-technical experience on here? I would say, because you've been a developer now going on a little over 3 years, this non-technical experience is going to be less important. You did it for 4 years, but I would say it's probably less important. But so are your projects at this point. Your projects are going to kind of start to drop off as well from a necessity point of view, because your work experience is going to be more prevalent on the resume. I think you could put it on here. I would probably just bring it down to a single bullet point. So basic maintenance on vehicle fleet and assistance with everyday duties. So basic maintenance on vehicles, like, you could probably remove all the stuff in parentheses on this and just put it in a single bullet point line. So basic maintenance and assistance with everyday duties on vehicle fleet, and just leave it at that bullet point and nothing else. I don't think you really need to explain like what else you did at that job. Project work, again, because you've been working for 3.5 years, your projects are going to be less important unless you're going for a role where, like, the current job, you're doing a lot of TypeScript, you're doing Java. If the next role is going to be more into Python, for example, and Python's like way out here at the end of your list, then, and you're applying for a Python job, then you might want to have a project in Python. But I would say, showing that you can, consume REST APIs and so on, that's fine. APIs should be capitalized. Showing that you can consume APIs. I mean, you could just talk about how you do that at your current job. Now, if you don't consume APIs at your current job, and it is something that's going to be in that next job that you're applying for, then yes, put Postman on there, list your projects where you're, consuming or building APIs. If you're not currently doing that at your job and the next job does expect it, then having those projects on there would be helpful. Otherwise, I would expand a whole lot more about what you do at your job. You've been there for 3.5 years. I guarantee you've got more than 5 bullet points worth of things that you can talk about. So I would probably reduce this down to maybe one project and maybe double the amount of information that you're telling me about this job. It was your first job after education, where you're working in the tech industry. So you want to talk a lot about what you've learned, what you've built, the impact that you've had as a team member along the way. Perform code reviews and so on. Submitted code reviews of my own code. That's fine. Using Jira, that's fine. Work with product owners, designers, and QA to implement new features, solve bugs. That's a pretty typical role as a developer. Now on 3 of these bullet points, you end them with a period. This one you don't, and this one you don't. So again, just be consistent about how you're writing these things. Otherwise, it looks like, and same with this one. This first one here ends in a period. This one does not. None of these do. None of these do. None of these do. So just be consistent about how you're writing your bullet points. They don't need to be grammatically correct sentences, so they don't need to end in periods. And yeah, again, like we said on the last resume review, don't let these wrap. I don't think it's helpful to have bullet points that go on and on and on. But being able to explain, like, this is what I did and this was the impact that it had, stands out a lot more as a bullet point than just, I did this thing. Like, I assisted in refactoring monolith swing legacy app to microservice-driven architecture using React TypeScript. Cool, but what was the impact of that? Like, did that speed things up by 20%? Did it make your deployments 50% faster? Did it increase scalability by some factor? Like, tell me the impact of it. And I would take off words like assisted in. You were part of the team that did it. So you refactored monolith swing, should be capital S, I think. Take out legacy app and just say monolithic swing app to microservice driven architecture, just microservice architecture, not driven architecture, because like you don't use microservices to drive architecture. You just say microservice architecture, or SOA, service-oriented architecture, using React and TypeScript. The technologies that you use to make that happen, is that really as important? I don't know. On that particular one. So again, what is Swing and going to a microservice? Like, when I think of microservices, I don't think of React. Like, I would think of like a microservice is like a backend API kind of thing. If you're breaking the front end into multiple sorts of smaller applications, I wouldn't be calling them microservices. I'd be calling them like micro apps or something like that. I'm sure there's a better name for what you're calling a more compartmentalized application, as opposed to microservice. Microservices tend to talk about like backend APIs and backend processing of data, and I wouldn't be talking about React with that. Like, yeah, you could write those in TypeScript, but you wouldn't be doing them in React. Spoken languages, definitely keep those on there if that's going to be really important to the company. If you're doing any sort of like customer-facing role, listing your languages is great. If you're going to be on a team which is worldwide, like if they specifically mention like, hey, we've got a global team like around the world and you're going to be working with people around the world, then yes, absolutely put spoken languages on there if you speak more than just one language. I think that those would be fine. From a project point of view, they've got something in development. So React Native app to collaboratively plan fishing trips and track fishing stats. So again, this is good to know. Like, if you're applying for a job at like a fishing company, it also shows that you're actively looking into mobile development. So if you're applying for a job that's going to get into mobile development, this shows that you're currently learning how to build a mobile app. But I would probably list that above the work experience. If you're applying for a mobile development job and you're building a mobile app, put that first and then get into your work experience where you're not doing mobile app. Because again, I'm going to be reading through this going, what do you know? Where do you claim to know it? Where have you used it? And later, like down here in the second half of your resume, I'm finally getting to the point where you're actually doing some mobile development. So if you're applying for a mobile development job, put this project first and then your work experience. Stream flow Telegram bot. Simple bot to fetch river flows from the Colorado REST API. Okay. Written in Rust. So again, capitalization. Capital R on Rust. Capital L on Linux. Deployed on Linux server. I mean, if you've got it deployed somewhere, I would love to like tinker with it. If that's something that you can do publicly, if it's public, if not, and you're just putting it locally, like you have a Linux machine on a desk somewhere, like saying it's deployed to a Linux server, like doesn't really help very much unless you're talking about how you're deploying it. So it's not as effective to tell me that it's deployed if it's not like publicly deployed somewhere that other people can use it. If it's just something that you've written that just runs on a home server somewhere, then, yeah, it's deployed to a Linux server, but so is my chatbot. Like that's not something I would highlight. Like I would be highlighting the features of the chatbot and not the fact that I deployed it locally on a Linux machine. Same thing with React Native, capital R, capital N. Used Firebase as a backend. You do list Firebase up here, which is fine. Most people are going to know it's a real-time database, so you can take those kinds of things off. For persisting data, so again, Firebase is a database, so you don't, like, this becomes redundant. So you can just say written using React Native and Firebase for authentication or something like that, if you're using Firebase for auth. But for persisting data, like people that use Firebase know it's a database, so you don't really have to, be redundant about that. Physics research under this doctor, analyzing light curves, playing tuba in marching band. Okay. This is probably less helpful. I mean, and again, if it's a music company, then it's like, okay, cool, you have a history of music and they know that you're bringing that extra passion. But otherwise, I would take things like this off the resume. I think from a professional point of view, it's not that it hurts you, but it doesn't help you. And when it comes to the resumes, I'm looking for a way to say, no, I want to read only what I need to read about this job. Like, I have a job. I want to read your resume to know, do you fit this job? Later, we'll make an evaluation of, are you kind of this well-rounded individual that we need to bring on our team? But does the resume need to tell us that you played tuba in a marching band? I'm of the opinion, no. I do know people like Jonan Scheffler, who had a channel here on Twitch for a while. I hope Jonan gets back into streaming someday. He's like, yeah, if you've got that kind of stuff, absolutely put that on your resume because it humanizes you, as opposed to just, I'm this robot that knows this, these technical skills. And I do agree with that to some point, but I think that what you put on the resume does need to be relevant to the company. That's what's going to make you stand out. Like, they're not going to look at this and go, oh, hey, we were thinking about making a marching band. Now we got a tuba player. That would be great. Like that has happened probably exactly 0 times within a tech company. Like they're not gonna hire you specifically because you played tuba. Like, is it interesting about you? Sure. I think you could talk about that as like an introductory point or something like that. I don't know that it needs to be on a resume. Cool. I realized that I forgot to start a clip, I think, on that one, but I'll go back and I'll start a clip on that one in a little bit. Cool. Daddy Wesy, good to see you as well. Thanks for getting in the giveaway. So we got that resume done. So we're going to go do another giveaway. So giveaway daily. And that recipient is going to be Sarah 286. Wait, I didn't do a giveaway after the first one. I didn't do a giveaway after the first one. I've done 2 resumes now and I've only done 1 giveaway. What's up with that? All right, well, Sarah 286, if you're still in chat, let me know. If you're still in chat, you are the recipient of a prize. You are there. Awesome. So, Asira, I need to know which kind of kit card would you like? Well, I've got Star Wars, Star Trek, holiday theme, or I've got the toys. Now, the toys, I've got that catapult. I've also got like these little like blocks that you put together to make like a little puzzle. Let me switch over to the screen. I've got like these little blocks that you put together to make like a little 3D sort of shape, and you have to figure out the puzzle of how those pieces fit together. Or I've got things like infinite folding fidget cubes that you just like fold forever. So I can send you any of those as a toy, or I've got the holiday themed things, or I've got Star Wars or Star Trek. So let me know. And then I'm going to draw another one because I said I was going to draw after the first resume and I didn't actually draw. I pulled up the stats, but I didn't actually draw a recipient for that one. So I'm going to do another drawing right now. So Sarah, you need to let me know Star Wars, Star Trek, holiday, or toys. The infinite fidget cube looks awesome. Cool. Well, we have these in lots of different colors. So if you're feeling festive, I've got like green, red, and gold. But I've literally got these printed in all different kinds of colors. If you want one of these, I'll send one of these your way. But yeah, if you want a fidget cube, send me. Let me know what colors you would like. I've got just about any color that you could think of. Like I've got gray, pink, blue. I've got like a sparkly blue. I've got a sparkly green. I've got bright orange. I've got black. I've got white. I've got like a dark gray. I think I've got some red. Trying to think of like the colors of PETG that I have that these are better printed in. But I've also got a number of these already printed up in various colors. So if you would like one of these, then I will get one of these your way. Sparkly blue sounds awesome. Okay. So sparkly blue cubes, and then you want like a gold or a gray for the hinge, because the hinge color can also be customized as well. So I'll do dark blue blocks, and then for hinges I can do like a gold, or I can do like that really bright orange if you want, like super bright orange like this if you want like super bright orange. Something that'll kind of pop a little bit. So dark sparkle blue with like a bright orange hinge maybe. With orange? Okay, you got blue and orange. So what I need you to do is send me a Twitch whisper with your name and your address. And then I'll whisper you back the tracking information when I get that shipped out. So I need your name and a mailing address to send that to, and I'll get that out in the mail probably tomorrow. And then you should have it, depending on where you live, you could have it within a couple of days. Cool. And then I'm going to do another giveaway right now because I promised to do one after the first resume and I forgot. So how are we doing on overall stats here? It's not only for the US, no. So we got 10 entries for the day. We got 22 people in chat. So if you want to get in on this, you need to follow the channel and you need to do Bang giveaway. Thank you for the hydrate. Sorry that I missed that earlier, muckety muck, but appreciate it. So do Bang giveaway, and you do need to follow the channel. If you already got an entry, then you're in for the whole day. Cool. All right, we got all kinds of entries. All right, so I'm going to do another giveaway right now, and then we've got one more to do. So don't leave. I've got a third resume to go through. I'm going to do a third drawing, and then we'll see what we have after that. So, all right, so let's draw one more, and that recipient is Robo Oso. Robo Oso again with the win. Robo Oso's been cleaning up. So Robo Oso, I think this is the fourth one that Robo Oso has received. So Robo Oso, I've got a number of other things already packaged up, including the catapult for you. Where did I put it? Where did the catapult go? Oh, there it is. It's sitting under a whole stack of things because I've got a whole stack of things to go to Robo Oso. So Robo Oso, here's the catapult in that bright teal that you wanted. So that's all printed off and ready to go. So yeah, Robo Oso. You want another catapult? Okay. You want a dark sparkle blue catapult. You got it. Let's see. So we want a dark sparkle blue catapult. All right. At this point, Robo, so I might need to send you like a box of things because I don't know that it's all going to fit in just one of those envelopes, or I might need to send multiple envelopes. It might be cheaper just to put the stuff in a little box and send you a box. I'll try and get that out for you tomorrow. You need the catapult battle. The catapults are pretty fun. So they also come with like a little target thing that you put together. So it's got like little feet here, and then you put the target together. I need to like clean this up and like take the support material off of it. So I'm gonna hit this with a heat gun. Then I gotta break some support material off the bottom of the base here, but otherwise it came out really nice and clean. So yeah, I'll do a dark sparkle blue catapult for you as well, and I'll get that out in the mail tomorrow. Sweet, good deal, good deal. All right, so we got one more resume to go through, and then we'll do another giveaway. So hang out for a minute. We got one more to go through. Let me go back over to here. Okay, actually the third one asked for it to be a private review. So I'm not going to do it public. So, okay, so we will not have a third resume unless someone else sent in a resume. Hey, we got another resume in. So, so Pantrack, I got your resume. So let me just pull that up here real quick. And then we'll pull that up as a review here. Let's go over to here. Close that one down, close that one down, close that one down. And we'll go back over to so many windows. All right, let's downloads. All right, so we got a fourth resume to go, or third resume to go through. Would have been a fourth one, but yeah, I misunderstood that somebody wanted a private one. So glad we got that. All right, so let's jump over to this one. Oh, so Robo Oso also wants me to critique a job post. So Robo Oso, go find me a job post and paste that in chat for me when I'm ready. So do that after I finish this resume review, and then we'll get in on that. So let me get this queued up here. All right, we got our third resume for the day. The overall style and format of the document and the information listed is something they want feedback on. I have no job experience. That's why it doesn't have any on it. I'm looking for a junior position for back-end web dev or game dev or mobile dev, mostly remote. The first thing I would say, based on the introduction that you sent with a resume, is you either want back-end or game or mobile. Is you're going to need to pick one because you're going to want to customize a resume for each of those things that highlight projects and skills that show that you can do that thing. Building one resume where you can look like a backend developer or a mobile developer or a game developer, people are going to look at that resume and go, which is it? Like if you list out your skills and you've got all of these different projects on there, it's going to be really confusing for someone to make a determination of like what kind of developer do you want to be. Now you've got this listed out in 2 pages. So depending on where you are located, this is not a typical layout. So one thing that you can go look at is the resume sample. I've got a Google Doc that showed up here in chat that you can go take a look at. And that resume sample is, sorry, it's going to do it again because of voice commands. It's going to show you some examples of how you can put your contact information, how you can talk about projects, and how you can build out your skills and so on. And so we'll go through a little bit of this here. So you've got like, hi there, I'm John Doe. Like you've got a little bit of an introduction here, and that's not typical for a resume. This would be more typical of like a cover letter. But seeing that you're listing your age on here makes me think that you're probably not in North America, which is where I'm based, and maybe also not in Europe, because it's not typical to put your age on a resume. There are actually laws over here in North America that people can't ask your age, because you shouldn't be discriminated against because of how old you are or how young you are. So I would probably take these kinds of things off. Typically, what you would have up here at the top is your full name. And so having your full name here would not be applicable. Your email address, your GitHub profile, and things like LinkedIn profile. You would list all that up here at the top. Phone number, like how would they contact you from there? Self-educated, highly motivated, passionate with programming and technology. Okay, so let's address the self-educated portion. It's okay to be self-educated. I want to be really clear on that. It's okay to be able to learn this stuff on your own, and you can still go get a job. It's going to be much harder, though. If you are not following a particular curriculum, it's going to be much harder for companies to trust that what you have learned has been best practice and industry standard, because you can just go pull up any YouTube channel and see, like, how do I want to get, how do I want to learn, this particular aspect of software development or something like that. And you're going to learn like one little piece, but following a structured curriculum of some kind is going to be better. So what I would recommend is do something like a Udacity program, or do something like even Free Code Camp has really good free material where you can go learn the stuff for free. But learning on your own is fine. And we're getting in here and we're seeing Greek native. Okay, that's fine. And English as well. Okay. So you are in Europe, but it's still not typical to list your age on a resume. So I would take this off. And then try to figure out, like, what is it that you want to focus on for a particular type of technology. Yeah, C Films is also mentioning 100 devs. 100 devs is good depending on the time zone that you're in. It might be a little harder if you're over in Europe, because they run a lot of their classes in North America time. But there's a lot of free material out there, but follow a structured curriculum, and follow a structured curriculum for a particular technology for getting a particular kind of job. Because in your introduction, you said backend or mobile or game. But on here, we're seeing things like penetration testing and ethical hacking. Like, again, that's a whole other branch of technology. So you really need to decide, where do you want to take your career? It's okay to learn all of these things, but you need to focus on one thing and do that one thing really well. So you're going to need to choose at this point. Someone was asking what I listed. So Free Code Camp is one. Udacity is going to be a paid program, but again, their curriculum is highly structured and it's also project based. There's also 100 devs, which is going to be free as well. You can go learn like Udemy and things like that, but Udemy is going to be like curriculum to a point, but you're typically only building like maybe one project, for a Udemy type of program. Udacity, they're typically going to have you build like 2 or 3 projects. Anything that's project-based learning is probably going to suit you better on a resume, especially when you're getting into a development type role, because you can show them that project. So having a project that you can show on the resume is going to be much more helpful. And so you're going to need to pick, do you want to do web development? Do you want to do game development? Do you want to do back-end development? Do you want to do pen testing? Do you want to get into the security realm? Like, you're going to have to focus your attention instead of saying, I want to go learn all of these things, because trying to learn a breadth of knowledge without a depth of knowledge means that you're sacrificing the depth because you want to go learn all these other things. I want to go learn all these different programming languages. I want to learn how to go do pen testing and security testing and ethical hacking. And I want to learn mobile development on all these different platforms. And I want to learn web development with all these different languages and frameworks. And I want to learn backend development and how to build APIs and consume APIs. That's fine. You can go learn all of that, but not now. Now is the time to focus on one thing and go get a job in that one thing. Because once you start getting the paycheck, you've got the time to go learn as many other things as you like. Tangible Studio is also listing really good things as well. Coursera, edX, Scrimba, Code Academy. Those are all going to be really fantastic resources as well. So you need to focus on like one thing that you want to do, and just put your attention on that and learn that really well, learn it extremely well, and then go do that thing. I think trying to spread yourself across so many things is going to reduce the amount of time that you're learning it effectively, and it's going to take you much, much longer to get a job. And anybody looking at your resume or your CV is going to look at this and go, what is it that you want to do? Like you've built games, you've put it on Steam and Itch, and you've got something released on Google Play, so that's fine. You've kind of set a precedent now for being a game developer and a mobile game developer. But like saying, I'm learning every day. Well, that's fine. That's something you're going to do in tech anyway. So you don't need to put that on a resume. Favorite OS, they don't care. Like, they don't care that you like Arch Linux. Like, they're not going to care. Favorite language is Python. Just tell me you're a Python developer. You don't have to say it's a favorite. You just have to say I'm a Python developer. Um, so when we get into your projects, you're listing out, you got your PC game, your solo game developer, 2 months total. Um, you don't really have to tell me how long it took you to build that project, but you do need to tell me about it. Like, what did you learn while building it? What are some of the core game mechanics that you built as part of that game? Those are going to be things that are going to stand out if you're going to get into game development. If you're going to do web development, then listing these projects is not going to help you to promote yourself as a web developer. It's not going to help you promote yourself as a backend developer. It's not going to help you promote yourself as a penetration tester if those are the avenues that you want to go into. These projects are only going to help you if you're getting into mobile development or game development, because that's what those projects are. So again, you're going to need to decide what kind of developer you want to be so that you list the projects around that theme. So if you want to get into web development, you're going to need some web development projects. You want to be a backend developer, you're going to need some backend projects. You want to be a security pen tester, you're going to have to show me your involvement in that in some way. Generic programming languages, Python. So get rid of these ratings. 3.5 out of 5 is meaningless. It's very subjective. Like what you think is 3.5 out of 5 might only be 1.5 out of 5 for me, because I've been doing Python for 15 plus years. It might be 5 out of 5 to somebody that doesn't know Python at all. So get these ratings off. Ratings don't belong on a resume. And then just list all of the languages together. I know Python, I know C, C++, C#, Java, Rust. Those are fine. But again, when you go to apply for a job, you need to list the skills that they care about. So if you're looking for a Rust job, you're going to list Rust first and then everything else. If you're applying for a Java job, you're going to list Java first and then everything else. You're not going to put Java last on the list if it's a Java job. You want to look like a Java developer who happens to know all these other things. You don't want to look like I know all these other things and I happen to know Java. So whatever kind of role you're looking for, you want to promote those technologies first and foremost on your resume, and then list everything else. Web development, front end. Okay, so HTML 4 and 5, CSS. Just say you know HTML. HTML5, CSS3. But again, like, get these ratings off of here. Like, ratings don't belong on here. For JavaScript, you need to spell that out as the word JavaScript. That's going to hit on the keyword. Vue, React, those are fine. Django, databases. So go look at the sample document that I put up here. I think it'll give you a better idea of like how to lay out your skills. When it comes to game engine, cool, you've got all the different engines and so on that you've used: Unreal, Unity, Godot, or however they pronounce Godot. Mobile development, you've got Flutter and React Native, that's fine. Cybersecurity, again, like, what does 1.5 out of 5 even mean? Get those ratings off. Networking for multiplayer games, TCP/IP protocol, HTTP protocol, that can be helpful. Again, if you're going for like a low level kind of job, but if you're getting into web development, this doesn't help. Like, no one's going to ask you to explain the TCP/IP protocol if you're going for a web developer job. They're going to ask you to explain HTTP, but they're not going to ask you about TCP. Like, they're not going to ask about how to build an IP header and how to do these things at a really low level. They're just not going to ask that. Now, if you're going for a really low level job where you're building out like low level game mechanics and libraries and things like that, then yes, they might ask. But again, it's going to be very specific to that job. And so you can start to focus the information on your resume or on your CV specific to that particular job. Cloud hosting on Heroku, that's fine. Just say that you've deployed to Heroku. Again, get the rating off of here. Nobody cares about other operating systems that you've used. Music production, again, if you're going for game development, list that. If you're going for a web development job, take that off the resume. No one cares. Nobody in web development is going to care that you do music development or music production. It's because it's not part of the job. It's not that they don't care. It's not that it's not an important skill. It's just it's not important to that job. So you don't need to put it on a resume if it's not important for that job. Same thing with photo editing. If you're doing back-end development, photo editing plays no part in that type of role. You don't need that on there. Office programs, I would get this off the resume completely. None of this will help you in any of these kinds of roles. GitHub will help. Trello will help. Notion may or may not help. I mean, it's kind of like a note-taking kind of tool. Some teams use it for, building out their internal documentation and so on. So it might be helpful. If they mention it, then list it. but otherwise I would remove that completely. So generally, when I look at a resume, I want to see who are you, what do you claim to know, like what are your skills, and then what projects have you built using those skills that I'm going to care about seeing, and then tell me any work experience. Now, in this person's case, they didn't have any work experience. And so you need to rely heavily on the education and your project work. And in this case, it's going to be more of your project work. And again, the projects are going to be more relevant to the type of role instead of just throwing everything on a resume. Now, one piece of advice that I do give on the stream is go build a resume with everything on it, all of your projects, all your skills, all your languages. And then when you go build a resume for a particular job, you're going to trim all that back down to what that company cares about. But here's the thing with this is scattered all over the place. You're doing game development, you're doing web development, you're doing, security aspects of things. You need to make a resume just for web development and only list web development technologies and only list your web development projects. You need to make another resume for mobile development and game development where you're just listing mobile and game and nothing else. Like if you need to fill up the extra space, you can say, I also do some web development work, or, I also do some pen testing or whatever. Like you can list that if you need to fill up extra space on the page. But don't put all of this all in one resume and expect that anybody reading this is going to know what kind of role you're applying to. Otherwise, it looks like you're kind of scattered. Like from an attention point of view, it looks like you can't focus your attention on something. And so I would say focus on either one technology and learn that really well and then go get a job in that thing, or you're going to need to make multiple resumes and multiple projects to show how you're relevant in each of those different realms so that you can go get a job in that realm. But putting all of this on a single resume and sending that in for every job is going to confuse the person reading the resume. So I would probably, my recommendation to you would be to focus your attention on a particular kind of job, go get a job doing that thing, and then on the side, you can continue to learn all this other stuff. But I think you need to make a choice of, do you want to be like, for the job that you want? Do you want to be a mobile developer, like game developer? Do you want to be a web developer? Do you want to get into security? Do you want to get, like, what kind of job do you want? And then focus just on those technologies for the time being, even for the next 6 months. Just focus on that. Learn that stuff extremely well and go get a job doing that. And then you can continue to kind of branch out and learn all this other stuff. Hey, Whip, good to see you in chat as well. All right, cool. So we'll wrap that one up. Corflus, good to see you in chat as well. Let's hop back over to the screen. I still don't know what database you use. You don't need to list cloud hosting. I mean, you may want to list cloud hosting if you're doing web development. It can be beneficial to show, like, I've actually deployed something live. You can go experience it. Here's a link on Heroku to go play with that thing. So it can be helpful. As far as like database, yeah, you claim to know databases on the resume, but did they actually name the database anywhere? Again, if they're going to focus on web development, then they need to just build a resume around web development. These are the tools and the technologies and the databases and so on that I've used. This is a project that I've built where I've highlighted like all the things that I would expect a web developer to know. Cool. Pantrak, thank you for sending in the resume. I hope that that's helpful to you. I'm just going to hydrate you. Cool. We're up to 30 viewers. We are doing more giveaways today. So feel free to follow the channel and do !point giveaway. We're going to give away some more fun stuff in a little bit. RoboOso gave me a job post to go critique. I love doing these. So as a hiring manager, so I've been a hiring manager, and I have I've written job posts. I've also, as a senior dev, I've applied for a lot of jobs in my career, and so I like to kind of help people understand, like, hey, this is what's good about the job post. This is what's bad. This is what might make me like really excited about this job or about this company, or make me run away screaming. And so I like to get in on those. So yeah, Whip, good to see you as well. We have a little sound effect just for Whip. Appreciate you coming by and hanging out. Orexio, first time chat. Do you have any advice on deciding between management versus IC tracks Are there jobs where you can do 50-50? Sometimes lead developer roles will do a bit of 50-50 where you'll get a little bit into the people management side of it. But it really depends on what aspect of management you want to do. Do you want to do people management, or are you looking at business, like the business side of management, where you're doing more of the project management and program management? So there are two different aspects. Even once you go down the management track, you can branch off into multiple things as well. Do I have any more USS Enterprises to give away? Yes, I do. If you are the recipient of a giveaway, if I don't already have a kit card, I'm going to print you one. So yeah, you'll be able to choose whatever you like. So if you want Star Trek and you want an Enterprise, you can absolutely request that. My dog demanded a snack. I think each website was helpful for specific language or topics. Like Udacity has a great free web accessibility course. Code Academy was great for starting to learn JavaScript. Free Code Camp was good for additional practice and reinforcing these. Free Code Camp has they've got a really wide variety of, like, if you want to go learn one specific technology, you can, but they also do a really good job at a really high level of, you want to learn web development or you want to learn backend development, like here's a track that you can go down. And now that you've learned those bits and pieces, now if you want to go even deeper on that technology, they're also going to have curriculum on those technologies as well. So I'm actually a big fan of the Free Code Camp curriculum. I think they do a good job around like just having like a start to finish sort of methodology on that. Let's see, what else did I miss in chat? C Films, thanks for dropping stuff in chat as well. I saw a bunch of stuff on there. Are we all done resumes for today? I don't think I got any more. Let me just double check. I did see one more come in. C Films, you sent over another resume, so I can pull that up and take a look at that in a moment if you like. Let me know in chat, C Films, if you want me to do that resume review on the stream today, and I'll get in on that if you want. You can do it on stream. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that after the job post. So I'll do the job post. We'll do a giveaway. I'll do a resume. We'll do a giveaway, and we'll go from there. How's that sound? So we'll do lots more giveaways yet to come. Let's head over to. Oh, I should have put some supports under the helmet over there. We're getting a little janky under the chin here of the helmet. But our astronauts are coming along pretty good, and then we have a giant pumpkin printing out here. Come on, show us the pumpkin. There we go. So that's our giant version of the glut pumpkin that's printing. So he's got green with bright blue pupils for his eyeball. That one's going to take another number of hours to finish up, but it should be finished for later today and get that out for Halloween for tomorrow. It's a very creepy looking pumpkin for sure. How do you do a private CV review over email? Do you do live conversation? I do both. Not so much email. So I'll do one of two things. I'll either record it and send you the recording, or we can do it live on a Zoom call. So if you've got the flexibility, or if we have like the combined flexibility of time zones and so on, then I'm happy to hop on a Zoom call and do it. Or if you want me just to record it, if you're not available like within the time zone that I would typically be awake and doing these things, then I'll just record it and I'll send you the recording. And with the private reviews, I can drill in much more specifically on things. And typically with the private reviews, I'll actually pull your content into an editor and I'll show you like how I might manipulate certain things as well. But I do charge money for those. If you are working in the industry, I do charge money for those. If you've gone through a code camp and you're looking for the first job, I don't charge money for those, for the private ones. But if you're in the industry, I typically charge $50 for that. But again, it's all going in the diversity and tech fundraiser, and then I'm putting another $50 into that. So when you pay for a resume review, you're actually putting $100 into our pot of money up there. So you're putting in 50, I'm putting in 50. So just so that you're aware of that. Cool. Yeah, and appreciate everybody sharing resources in chat as well. So cool. We got a job post to do. Let's do that. I want to make like a little jingle for like roasting the resume reviews. All right, let's go back over here. And so Robo also sent over this job post. Let me do. So we have a job post review from Robo Oso. So appreciate you redeeming some channel points for that. Full stack engineer at ClickPart. We're building the technology to reinvent the multi-billion commercial building maintenance procurement industry. That's a lot of buzzwords. Our platform is currently being used by some of the largest hotel brands who are excited about scaling out across their portfolio with us. So excited about and actually using us are two completely different things. And this is marketing speak for, we've talked to some people and they say, hey, once you get this thing built, we would probably consider maybe using it possibly. But it doesn't say that they are actually using it. So that's one thing to keep in mind when it comes to marketing. We have a product with enthusiastic customers. So, okay, so they do have some people using it. They have revenue. We're on a rapid growth trajectory. We need your help to build software to scale the business. And they link over to the website. We'll go take a look at that. So why us? Exciting future tech roadmap, distributed systems and AI, small team, early stage startup environment, embracing distributed and remote work. We focus on delivering customer value. Okay, so they're working on the MERN stack, so Mongo Express React Node and Elasticsearch. Complete large. So your responsibility, you're going to complete large features independently. You write well-organized code and help improve existing code and seek improvement of existing systems. So from a responsibilities point of view, this is kind of vague. You're going to be building out large features all by yourself. They expect you to have 4+ years of experience. It's going to be remote only. Tells you the countries that they can hire in. They can't sponsor a visa. It's going to be a full-time role. They also list out the skills in here. So they mentioned the MERN stack. So they have JavaScript, Mongo, Node, backend. Yep, front end. Okay, AWS and DynamoDB and so on. But they don't mention any of that in here for their tech stack. They list Docker, and they don't mention that. They mention Kubernetes. They don't mention that over here. And then they mention Docker composing Kubernetes yet again. And they don't mention any of that over here. Then they talk about Node, React, Redux. They talk about that over here, so that's fine. The MERN stack. So there are a few technology skills here that they're listing that they don't mention as part of the tech stack. But they expect you to have 4 years as an engineer. They want you to have a degree that's related to what you do. And then the bonus, okay, so the bonus skills is AWS and Docker and DevOps. So it's not required. So all the stuff that they list over here that they didn't list as part of the tech stack, those are nice to haves, but not required. So little confusing at first, trying to consolidate all of that, but we get it. So you can apply, you do a phone screen, you do a tech interview, and then you get an offer. But they don't tell you much about the tech interview process as far as like how many tech interviews you're going to go through. And then it's small enough that they only have a CTO. So when you're a startup and you have a CTO, that basically means the CTO is like the lead programmer. They're like the lead architect / programmer. And so they are doing the programming and probably the environment and deployments and all that kind of stuff. It sounds like it's going to be a relatively small team. What concerned me most that I scrolled past in a hurry is they expect you to have 4 years experience working for a startup. And they only want to pay 60 to 90K with zero equity. That's a deal breaker right there. If you want 4 years of experience, you're going to be paying me at least double this amount, probably somewhere in between doubling all of these. Like for someone with 4 years experience, I would be expecting probably close to 150K plus equity. Paying 60 to 90K, if you got like a significant equity chunk for being in an early stage startup, that would be one thing. But the fact that they're not giving you any equity whatsoever, that's a deal breaker. 60 to 90K is extremely low. That's not even entry level wage. Like that's barely entry level programmer wage for a remote job. So let's go find out a little bit more about them. Like where are they and so on. So tools for engineers, no more wasting your engineers' time hunting for parts. Sorry, something fell, but it's okay. So they build out this whole management platform, and you're going to be building out large features on this. How many engineers do you have? So how much can you save? So let's say we have a bunch of engineers, and we pay them more than you pay us. So So they've got this cool little calculation kind of thing, and it'll say like, hey, you're going to save this much, by using our software. Give it a try. All right, contact us. Just a page, nothing else about it. Let's go look at their LinkedIn. They have 8 employees. Automated inventory system for maintenance parts for hotels. We work with a network of suppliers, partners to ensure we have whatever you need to keep your hotel running smoothly. Order from your mobile or desktop. Track all your orders in one place. Our live assistants will help you find whatever part you need. So they're also paying for live help. They've only got 8 employees. How the heck are they paying for live people to be on the phone? Is that going to end up being part of your job? Recent job openings. Full stack in New Zealand, Mexico, United States for account management. They're looking for Mexico for full stack. They're looking at New Zealand for full stack. Those are the only 3 jobs. So when we look at what we've got over here on Angel, it says that they're based in San Francisco. This says 11 to 50 people, but LinkedIn said only 8. They're hiring remotely in Canada, Mexico, North America, South America, United States, New Zealand. If you're in the United States or Canada, you should not be applying for this job at this range of money. If you're in a different country where the exchange rate would make this beneficial, like Mexico or New Zealand, might be helpful. I don't know what the exchange rate to New Zealand is going to be. Overall, though, from a job post point of view, like, okay, they kind of sell you on like, this is why you should come work with us. These are some of the neat things that we're going to get into, although they don't really talk about like what distributed and AI work you're going to be doing. You're mostly going to be doing MERN stack, but the fact that you're going to be building out large features, you're expected to improve the code. They want you to have 4 years of experience, but they're barely paying you entry-level wage. That's a huge flag. So let's go over to one more place that I like to hang out, and that's Crunchbase. And we're going to go look for ClickPart. So ClickPart. So this tells us a little bit about, not so much on the employee side, but it'll tell you like who's running the company, where are they based, give you a little bit more information about them. So clickpart.co, the website matches. So in here is where we can start to see like, have they raised any money and things like that. So they're for profit. They have a phone number. They have a sales team. This is listing them as private London company. So are they based in San Francisco or are they based in London? People. They only have the CEO listed on here. Susan Shi. Is that person actually listed here on LinkedIn? Yep, CEO in the Bay Area. Redwood, San Francisco, Virginia Beach, Washington, Athens, Georgia. Virtual assistant, okay, and an account manager also in Georgia. So why are they being listed as a company in London? The other thing that's interesting is they claim to have revenue, but they haven't actually raised any money. Like according to Crunchbase, they have not raised any funding. So how are they paying, 10 employees plus virtual assistants when they haven't raised any funding? That would be one of the first questions I have for them. Is like, how do you like, how much revenue is there? Like, have you raised funding? Because according to what I've looked at so far, they have no funding, which means they're either already profitable or somebody has invested money privately and they're burning through that cash. The fact that you're not getting any equity and that pay is really low is a huge concern. I think overall the selling points here are fine. The tech stack is good. I like that they're listing some things as bonus, nice to have types of skills. Overall, like what they're looking for here, they expect you to have a degree. That can be a deal breaker, definitely for some companies or for some people applying to companies if you don't have a degree. Because what if you're in a country that doesn't have university degrees? That could be a deal breaker. But it also, lets you know the mentality of the other people. Like if we go look at their CTO, this Chris Rosner person, let's go look at his background. I'm almost guaranteed that he's got like a bachelor's degree or master's degree. Worked at Meta. Okay. Worked at a bunch of other like no-name places. Sony Entertainment. And yeah, UC San Diego with a bachelor's degree in computer science. VP of software engineering. Let's go see their VP's background. Co-founder, CTO at another whole company, and yet they're also here at this company full-time. So they're working 2 full-time jobs presently, building out multiple things. They were lead developer, they were instructor, software engineer, also with a background in computer science, also from UC San Diego. They might, like the CTO and VP might know each other from school. So that's already setting a dangerous precedent for the whole team that they expect everybody to have a degree. And I think that that's a dangerous thing to do. The other thing that sort of stands out to me is they've only got 2 developers on the team, according to LinkedIn. They may have more that just aren't on LinkedIn, but the only people that I see that have a background in computer science are these companies, or these 2 people, Keith and Chris, and they've both got degrees in computer science. UK strategy, okay. University of Cambridge, Master of Arts, okay. So the CEO doesn't appear to be a programmer, but then they've got account management, operations management, account management. So they've only got 2 programmers on the whole team. So you would be programmer number 3. You're not getting any equity, and you're being paid a really low wage. Overall, I like the job post. This needs to get corrected in a big way. Like this salary needs to at least double. If you're going to be the 3rd employee on a team, then you need to be making a whole lot more than 60 to 90K, or they need to be kicking in like significant equity. So overall, what do I think of this? I'd say no, not fantastic. Not a fantastic job post, in my opinion. I think they could do much better on the salary side of it. The fact that they're in the Bay Area, they could be raising money. Like from what I'm seeing on Crunchbase, they don't even have a seed round. I would be asking them very specifically, like, how do you pay your employees? Like, are you profitable enough to pay your employees? Because there's no information anywhere about raising money. They have a blog, but they don't have like press releases or anything like that. So, and all they talk about are COVID supplies. And that was over 2 years ago. They haven't blogged since. So their blog serves no purpose. They do have FAQs. How much is delivery? Is there a cost? Our app, our live assistant, and any service is free to use. Like other marketplaces, we make money by taking a cut from the supplier. So they're making money on parts. I would be running away screaming from this right now. We charge at cost delivery from our supplier partner. This to be quota for every order. Nuh-uh. No way. I would not be taking this job. Their only revenue model is taking a cut on parts. We save you money by comparing across our partners to find the best price. So they're already trying to find you the lowest price on the part. Like you need a new toilet. They're going to find you the cheapest possible toilet. And then they're going to make like a fraction of money off of that. And that's their revenue as a company to pay all these people? Like, heck no. No way. That could also explain why they haven't raised any funds. Maybe they've been trying to raise money and like no investors like willing to make that kind of move. Like that's not awesome to me. Harry Peter, thanks for the follow. Yeah, overall, big thumbs down on this job post. I love looking at those. I've found very few where I'm like, this is actually pretty good. Like from a job post point of view, like I think they do things well until there was the requirement to having a degree, because I think for what they're going to be doing, you're not going to need a degree. Yeah, they do want to get into distributed work, and yeah, they do want to get into AI, but those are things that you can learn. I don't think you need to have a degree in those things. They want you to have 4 or more years of experience, but they're barely paying you for entry-level wage. So yeah, I would be running away from that one for sure. Cool. Let's do another giveaway, shall we? How do we have for stats? We got 26 people. Oh, we got 31 people in chat. We got 14 entries. So if you want to give us a follow, you can do !giveaway and get in on the giveaway. We got all kinds of goodies that we're giving away that are 3D printed, and those are going to go out to the post office tomorrow. So get in on the giveaway today, and they will get to the post office tomorrow. And every entry will get you into the monthly giveaway for a 3D printed Deadpool bust that I printed myself. This was printed here at home. This is all filament. There's no paint anywhere on this. This is all filament. And we'll also be giving away a Lego kit. And those are being given away Tuesday night. So you've only got today and tomorrow to enter. So get in on the giveaway. You need to follow, do bang giveaway, and then we'll get you going here. So we'll give you another moment. Nicola Turing, thanks for dropping by. Let's do giveaway daily. We'll do one more giveaway after this next resume, and then we'll call it a day from there. So our next recipient is Muckety Muck. Muckety Muck, you have been chosen. Muckety Muck, let me know that you're still in chat. And if you're still there, then we can have some conversation about what you would like to receive. So Muckety Muck, you are there. Hooray. All right, so Muckety Muck, you get to choose Star Wars, Star Trek, Holiday, or Toy. And then from there, we'll kind of narrow down some choices a little bit. So yeah, whoa, you are the recipient. NadyMan48, what's going on? Thanks for dropping by. What's good? It is Sunday. I'm just chilling. We got a Deadpool to give away. So this is going to be given away Tuesday night. So if you want to get in on the giveaway, you need to follow the channel and do bang giveaway, or ! giveaway, and get in on the giveaway. We're going to do one more drawing today. And what I'm giving away today are little things like, catapult kits to actually go build a catapult like this. Or in the case of Muckety Muck, they would like some Star Trek. So for Star Trek, we got things like Deep Space Nine and Enterprise, and these are all going to come in these little kits. Let me move some of the stuff out of the way. Now this is a land speeder. Obviously, this is Star Wars, as it's the more superior sci-fi series. Just kidding. Sort of kidding. I prefer Star Wars. But you're going to get a kit card that looks like this, and they'll basically build out into little 3D models once you fit all the parts together. And so this is basically what we're giving away today. We've got Star Wars, Star Trek. We've got holiday-themed things like little Christmas tree ornaments that you can put together, or little snowflakes that you can hang on your Christmas tree. And these are all 3D printed by me. And I will get those out in the mail tomorrow. And then tomorrow we're going to do one more stream in the evening. No, wait, you want a catapult? Okay. So what color of catapult do you want? I can do gray, pink, bright orange, black. I've got dark sparkly blue, dark sparkly green. What are the colors I got? I got like a bright pink, I think I already mentioned. I've got yellow, I've got purple. Let me know what color of catapult you would like. And I will print you up a catapult today and get that out. All right, so Muckety Muck has responded. They would like a catapult in sparkly green. All right, you got it. So send me a Twitch Whisper with your name and your address, and I will get that mailed out as soon as possible. So we're going to do one more stream tomorrow. We'll do one last round of giveaways, and then Tuesday, we're doing the giveaway. So Tuesday stream is just the giveaway of Deadpool and a Lego kit. So you want to come by for that. It'll be a relatively short stream unless people have like interview questions and resume questions and stuff like that. We do have one more resume review to go through, and then we're going to do another drawing after that. So hang out, and then we'll get you in on the giveaways and so on. So yeah, so every entry that you get visiting my stream all month long is giving you entries into the month-long giveaway. So if I do giveaway, it'll give some stats. We should be well over 150 entries now. Got 160 entries from 95 unique users. So some of them have been in there multiple times. Robo Oso has been probably by far our luckiest recipient. I think you're up to like 4 wins or 5 wins now over the course of the month. So congrats on that. We get a whole bunch of stuff packaged out for Robo Oso tomorrow. And so yeah, so tomorrow we'll do one last round of giveaways. And then Tuesday, we're actually doing like the big giveaway celebration. So looking forward to that. And if you do want to contribute to the Diversity in Tech fundraiser, you can donate, you can cheer bits and subs and all that kind of stuff if you want. And all that money is going into this pot of money up here at the top. This is just money that you all have helped me raise as a streamer. So I don't keep any money that I make as a streamer. All the ads, all the subs and bits and cheers and all that kind of stuff, it's all going into this pot of money. Any private resume reviews that I charge money for, that all goes into that pot of money. And then I'm matching that entire pot of money. And then we're going to give that money away to a company or a charitable group whose primary mission is to increase diversity in the tech industry. Usually don't win anything, so you're very grateful. Well, you got to come by my stream more often. All right, we got one more resume to go through. And then let me go pull that one up. Thank you, Robo Oso, for the job post. I love roasting those. Let me just go find that last email with the resume. There we go. All right. So C Films, who's in chat, C Films, I think you're still here. We're going to review another resume for C Films. And the note with that one was, does this resume sound like the person is a software engineer with specialty databases? So we're going to go in on that one. How many people have I interviewed in my lifetime? Oh my gosh. I have looked at probably more than 15,000 resumes over the course of my career. Professional interviews on the job. Oh my gosh, I've been interviewing people on and off since about 2003. That job, I didn't interview too many people. The next job, I interviewed a few people. It wasn't until about 2009 that I really got into like regular interviewing. And then I did a couple of hundred at SendGrid. So between 2009 and 2010, I probably did a few dozen. I did a few hundred at SendGrid. And then probably 100 more at the next job. Maybe a dozen at the job after that. I've done about 3,000 mock interviews. I've done about close to 1,500 just on interviewing.io. But I've also done like lots of other mock interviews with people along the way. Currently at my current job, I've done 2 interviews. We opened a position and then we put it on pause, and then we opened it again and we put it on pause. So I've interviewed 2 people for a role at Postman right now. So yeah, it's kind of on again, off again, but I've done many thousands of interviews. If you factor in the mock interviews and the real interviews, like many thousands. How do you interview the tech interview program? So it's not really a program itself. It's just a website. So you can just go visit techinterview.guide and everything is free. Everything is free over there. I've got an email series that you can check out. And that's basically a number of newsletters. Looks like there's a voice prompt. So you can go subscribe to that. And the email series is basically 3 different newsletters that you can subscribe to. One is just general tips on like research and how to prepare. Another one is just on technical questions, and another one is just on behavioral questions. And you can also set the pace for how frequently you want to get those. So if you want to get a message every day, you can. If you want to get one message every week, you can set the pace. Basically, when you go in and subscribe, you can say, I want this newsletter and I want that one every day. I want this newsletter and I want it every 3 days. And when it's over, it erases that subscription out of the database. And once you finish the last one, it completely scrubs you out of the database. I don't keep any data that I don't need to have on a regular basis. In fact, all the giveaways that I'm doing right now, and I'm telling people like, hey, send me your name and your address and stuff like that. I put all that in a database so I can generate the labels. And then as soon as this giveaway is done, I'm like deleting that entire table. I don't need to keep your name and your address. So people that have gotten things on the giveaways this month, you know from experience, I've said like, hey, send me your address. And you're like, I gave it to you like back in May or June when I did a giveaway. It's like, I don't keep that data. You need to send it to me again. I don't keep data for any reason. So I'm a big fan of just unsubscribing people. Once you're done with the series, I'll unsubscribe you. And once you get unsubscribed from the last one, it like completely erases you out of the thing. No ads, no promotions. It's all for free. Like I'm sincerely doing all of this for free just to help people out. I don't make any money as a streamer. I don't keep any of the money as a streamer. All that's going into this pot of money. Back in June, we gave away $5,000. About 1,700 of that was raised by the community. I matched that and rounded it up a little bit, and then my employer kicked in a bunch. And I had another call with the school that we gave that money to, Hack the Hood. Their new executive director actually reached out. We had a great conversation last Friday, and we chatted for a little bit on helping out with like some resume workshops and so on in the new year. So I'm looking forward to helping them out a little bit more. But yeah, I don't make any money as a streamer. I do this for free on purpose. I don't intentionally do this to make money. I've got all my stuff up on YouTube. You can go check out YouTube and like all the videos that I do here. I also split out all these little smaller clips like resume reviews and so on. I clip all of those things out as smaller videos, and those are all up on playlists on YouTube. You can go check all that out. Why is my database on the cloud? Partly so that I can access it from any machine. So I could expose, like I could put it on a local database here within my house, but then if I'm traveling, I would have to figure out some way of tunneling back in to access things, because sometimes I stream when I'm on the road. And so I want to be able to access that stuff remotely. Plus, I like just the idea of cloud-based databases. I used to use Firebase, now I use Airtable. It's nice and secure. Haven't had any problems with it so far. And like I said, as soon as it's done, I just drop that whole table and it's gone. And I don't keep backups of it or anything like that. So I don't feel the need to hang on to that data. So once you're done, you're done. What do you do to pause a job opening? You just take it off the boards to some degree. Yeah. So pausing. So a lot of companies right now are pausing on hiring because of the economy and stuff like that. And so a lot of them are either removing the job post, or they'll keep it up and they're just waiting for people to apply, but then they just kind of take their time like responding, because they don't want to get your hopes up either. Like they don't want you applying for the job and they reach out and you're like, oh, cool, this is happening like right now. There might be just a bit of a delay. Like at Postman, we were kind of on again, off again. But some companies are like straight up, no, we're not hiring. We're pulling down job posts that are not critical. Like even FANG companies are like, we are only posting critical jobs. Like these are jobs that we absolutely must fill, that sort of thing. So, and then, so sometimes they'll just remove them. Sometimes they'll keep them up and hope that people apply. And it just gives them a lot of time to go through and evaluate and sort of pick and choose who they want to interview for the role. So it varies quite a lot. All right, cool. We got one more resume to go through, and then we'll do another giveaway. So let's jump over to that screen. So this is C Films, who's hanging out in chat. So we've reviewed a resume for C Films in the past, and they've gone through and they've kind of revamped this one a little bit. And we're specifically asking, does this resume sound like someone who's a software engineer with a specialty database? So I'm not sure what specialty database means, or if you mean like that you have a specialty in using databases. But we'll go through and we'll kind of evaluate this. So from an overall layout point of view, it's pretty clean. They got like 3-letter months on all of these. They got a couple of things that are like into the present. So they've got project work, which is into the present, and then they've got work experience, which is into the present. That's fine. This job I've spoken to them about, and they've actually done this job on 2 occasions. Again, I would trim June back down to just a 3-letter month, just so it's all consistent there. But yeah, this is a seasonal job that they have on a regular basis, so this is fine to have on here. Cool. So education, we've gone through a lot of this before. I'll go through some of it again, just for the sake of everyone else on the stream. So full stack development, promoting themselves primarily as a JavaScript developer who also knows PHP and some SQL, UI UX implementation using or including accessibility, understanding of search engine optimization, data analytics and visualization using Microsoft Excel. So I probably wouldn't put the colon after this, just because it kind of stands out a little bit different from this. Like here you're saying, this is the thing and this is the technology I used. This is the thing and this is the technology I used. But for these, it's like, well, these are the technologies, or these are the things, but not listing the technologies that you actually used. So I would either move the data analytics underneath here, or I would remove the colon and just put like Microsoft Excel in parentheses or something like that. But again, it's kind of looking like you're describing kind of a subheading and then a list of technologies for that subheading. similar to what you've done here on this first list. So in the email, you're asking about things with databases. You actually don't list any databases up here at all. You mentioned that you know SQL, but you don't actually mention like actual database. So if you can clarify for me and chat a little bit about what you want there, or what you meant by that, that would be helpful. From a project point of view, front end is spelled wrong. So front end website built with JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Utilize an array of objects. Make this projects. So your grammar on here is really off as far as like words that are pluralized or not pluralized. It's actually really hard to read to know what you mean by this. So utilize an array of objects. Like utilizes an array of objects to make this project code maintainable. Like you already tell me that it's JavaScript, so you don't need to say it's JavaScript again, but the grammar on this is unclear, like what you actually mean on this one. So I'd probably clean up the grammar on that one. Backup code to GitHub, including detailed comments with each commit. I would just say you follow GitHub management or something on this. Saying that you're backing up the code to GitHub, I mean, anybody that does Git repos is already doing that. So you're not doing it specifically as a backup. You're just saying like what you want to project here is that you're using like GitHub best practices for coding and branching and things like that. So I would change that last statement to follow GitHub best practices for branching and commits or something like that. What I mean, do I sound like a software engineer, web developer who does SQL relational databases? So you mentioned SQL. This project doesn't mention databases at all. Design and import data into a MySQL relational database. Okay. Use PHP and SQL prepared statements to connect website to a database to pull data from it to present on the website. So this is redundant. This has a lot of redundancies in it. So you're using PHP and SQL to present dynamic data. Like I would just simplify this a lot and just say use PHP and SQL prepared statements to render dynamic data. So I would replace everything that I've highlighted here and say I use PHP and SQL prepared statements to render dynamic data. Create reusable functions for header and footer to make a website easier to update and reduce code. Develop quiz on. So some of this stuff is in present tense. And that makes it a little bit hard to read. So develop almost sounds like you're telling someone to do something. Like, I want you to develop this thing. Where you can say like, I'm working on this website. So you could say developing quiz or developed past tense, developed a quiz on the homepage. You've kind of already mentioned like HTML and CSS. Here you're doing it again, but it's for different projects. That's fine. Utilize media queries to establish a responsive design for a website to be mobile friendly. Okay. Excuse me. I think rewording some of this would be beneficial. So utilizes media queries for mobile friendly responsive design. I think you can shorten the amount of words that you use and still get the point across. Some of the phrasing that you're using is a little bit repetitive, and I think that you could reduce it a little bit. Marketing website and brand through email, word of mouth, phone calling, and social media. So marketing website and brand through email, word of mouth, phone calling, and social media. Okay. So we already talked about this one. Creating reusable functions for header and footer to make website easier to update and reduce code. That's fine. Developed past tense. Developed a quiz on the homepage using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Utilized So add a D on there. Utilized media queries for mobile-friendly responsive design. So again, you're just reducing the number of words, and you're still getting the point across here. And then we've talked about this job at a previous review. So your question is, do you look like a software developer who works with SQL relational databases? Like, yeah, you've given me a little bit on here. You actually don't mention the database at all up here. So you mentioned that you're using MySQL here, but you actually don't mention that up here as a skill. But if you're just writing SQL and you happen to be using MySQL, and like if you're not actually administering the MySQL database, then that's fine. If you want to list it as a skill, I would list it out here at the very end. Like if you know how to create tables and like update tables and things like that, but you have to be a little bit careful putting databases on a resume, because putting MySQL on there, they're going to expect, or they're going to have questions about how much MySQL you know. Do you know how to actually administer it? Do you know how to build indexing? Do you know how to like build compound indexes? Do you know how to partition and shard your data? Like what level of experience do you have with MySQL? And if it's just like, I know how to use MySQL, then you probably don't want to put MySQL on here as a skill, and just listing it here that you know how to get data in and out of a relational database. In which case, I might actually remove MySQL and just say, you're dealing with a relational database. And if they ask which one, you can say, well, right now I'm using MySQL, but I don't know very much about actually taking care of MySQL. One thing I would probably do, if you want to promote yourself as a developer who does databases, I'd probably put this one first, and then put the first bullet point as your second bullet point. So you want to look like a developer who does like SQL for these dynamic, for the dynamic data rendering. And then part of that is like you're designing and importing data, like doing ETL, as we call it. It's extract, transform, and load. So how are you importing that data into MySQL? Like, what are you importing it from? Are you importing it from CSV data? Are you importing it from some other data source? Like, how are you importing that data? Like, I would want to see a little bit more about how you're doing that if you want to promote that as like one of your skill sets. Is tell me a little bit more. Like, is it CSV data? Is it XML data? Is it just plain text data? Are you reading it from some other API and you're storing that in your database? Tell me a little bit more about that. You know how to build a database. You manually update your database. Well, knowing how to build a database and like build your tables is one thing, but like understanding the proper structure of which data types to use and why, and which ones index better and why, and which fields you put indexes on, why you use indexing. Can you do compound indexing? Are you getting into partitioning and replication? Like those are things that I would expect for someone who says that they work with databases, that you would have some level of understanding in. Now, the fact that you're still kind of entry level and going through 100 devs and learning some of this stuff, that expectation is going to be a little bit lower. And so I think just being able to say, like, you know how to create tables and create indexes and things like that is probably all you would need to say. But again, you could add that as another bullet point in here as well, around like what you're doing with the development. So if you're looking to sort of highlight your database experience on your resume, I think you could reduce some of what you're talking about as far as like the front end work and doing the marketing and things like that. Like that wouldn't be as important to tell me. If you're applying for a role that's expecting database development, I would take this bullet point off, because as a database, like as a backend database developer, you're not going to be doing marketing. So take that bullet point off for that role. If in another role you're doing a little bit of everything and marketing could be part of that, then leave that bullet point in. But again, you only want the bullet points on the resume that company's going to care about reading. And if marketing is not part of the role, then take that bullet point off. It doesn't help you. And instead, you want to expand on the kinds of skills and the kinds of technologies and things that they want to see on your resume. Excuse me. So you're going to need to find a little bit of what they're looking for to make sure that you're actually putting the right data on the resume. So yeah, so going back to your question, do I look like a developer who uses databases? Yeah, but I would like to hear a little bit more about what exactly you're doing with that data. So I would expand on that a little bit more, and then reduce some of the other like front end based things. So if you're because as a as a programmer who does work with databases, you're going to be doing more back end work than front end work. So you're going to want to reduce the front end work that you're promoting on your resume. Like your project work here is all front end. So maybe find a back end project and list that on here. Like you are kind of explaining it here with this project, but if you want to be a developer with database experience, you'll want to put this project first and put your front end project next. Because right now I'm reading this like, oh, you're a front end developer and you happen to have a project where you're working in some database stuff. You want to reverse that. You want to look like a database developer and you happen to also know front end. So you're going to want to reverse the order of those projects. Do you sound like a web developer? Yeah. This looks like a web developer resume. It's just a question of what are you focusing on? Because right now you look like a full stack developer who focuses mostly on front end, because you're telling me this whole project is front end and you're talking about a lot of front end stuff here. You know, like you're building out this whole thing in front end and you made it responsive and so on. So you look more like a front end developer for this resume than a back end developer. So again, front end web architecture using HTML and CSS, making it mobile friendly. Like this resume looks more like a front end developer, like a full stack developer who focuses more on front end than a full stack developer who focuses on back end. So if you're looking for a role that is full stack, but they expect you to have database work, then I would promote more of the back end work. Again, it depends on the roles that you're applying for. Is it focused? I mean, focused in what way? I've just given you like 5 different ways that I've looked at this resume and as far as like what to focus on. So it's hard to say, like, is it focused? Like, yes, it's a web developer resume, but what are you focusing on as a web developer is left as a question still. To me, this resume to me looks like a full stack developer who leans front end. That's what this focus looks like to me when I evaluate this resume. Just because you're promoting so much JavaScript, HTML, CSS, accessibility, SEO, mobile friendly, responsive design. You're mentioning that so many places that yes, you look like a full stack developer, but you lean heavily on front end. Is how I read this resume. You want to look like a web developer who focuses on SQL. So I've given you a bunch of tips on that. So I'll put this clip on YouTube. You can go back and review it. But I've already mentioned like 3 or 4 things that I would do to focus more on back end as opposed to front end. Cool. All right. So that got our last resume out there. Yeah, you're welcome. C Films, happy to help out. So let's do one more giveaway. So let's look at some stats. We got 33 people in the channel. We got 15 entries. So about half of you have not entered the giveaway. So get in on that giveaway. You just have to follow the channel, and that's just so you get notified of when I go live, because I'm going to go live tomorrow and you get another chance for a giveaway. And then all of those giveaway entries are going for Mr. Deadpool, as well as a Lego kit that I'm giving away tomorrow. And so all of those entries are going to be, all the entries for like up until today, as well as entries for tomorrow, are going to be used for the drawing on Tuesday. So Tuesday, we're not taking any new entries. So today and tomorrow are your last chance to get in on the big giveaway for Deadpool and the Lego kit. So get in on that. And then we'll draw those Tuesday night. But you will need to follow. So I'll give you another moment or so. I'm going to go check on the prints here real quick. Where do you submit your resume for review? So here's a link that you can send it over for a review. The only thing I ask is that you anonymize, at a minimum, anonymize your email address and your phone number. If you want to anonymize your name and take off the links for your GitHub and LinkedIn and things like that, you're welcome to do so. Like leave the links, like leave like some text where you would have had the links, so I can give you some feedback on overall layout and things like that. But you can anonymize as much or as little as you like. There's a checkbox on there saying I've anonymized as much as I want to, and I'm okay with you showing everything else. If you do want a private review in the box where it asks you to explain like what kind of review you want, make it very clear as the very first thing on there. I want this to be a private review. If you're currently working in tech and you want a private review, I do charge $50. You can just send that over PayPal and we can chat about that. And all that money goes into the fundraiser, and I'm matching that $50 in the fundraiser as well. If you are currently a code school student, or currently a student of any kind, or you're going through a code school, then I do not charge money for the private reviews. And generally, I'll do like a quick Zoom call and go over some of that with you, or I'll do a Zoom recording and I'll send you the recording afterward. Apologies if you already answered. Is it front end one word, front end two words, or front end with a dash in between? I would either do it with a space in between or a dash, but I don't think front end is all one word. I would split it out as two words. Whether you want to put a dash in there or not, I think is really up to you. I think of it more as like front end and back end, probably with the dash, but I think it varies a lot. So I'm going to go check out the printers real quick. I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Feel free to get in on the giveaway. We're going to do another drawing here very, very soon. All right, I'm back. All right, so nobody new in the giveaway, so I'm just going to go ahead and do a draw. So let me go archive all of these resumes here. Archive that one. And that one. All right. Cool. So Netty Man, you're already in the giveaway for today. So once you're in, you're in. I don't do like the stream elements thing where it like closes the giveaway. All right, let's do the giveaway. So do giveaway daily, and this recipient is going to be Netty Man. I know you're in chat because you just wrote something in chat a moment ago. So Netty Man, congratulations. You are the giveaway recipient, or one of several giveaway recipients for today. So you are our fourth recipient. So what I need you to do is let me know, do you want Star Wars, and so for Star Wars, I've got things like, you know, the land speeder in this cool, like metallic kind of finish. I've also got Millennium Falcons. I've got TIE fighters and things like that. And I'll just pull a random assortment. You're probably going to get one of these land speeders though, because I really like this metallic thing. So at a minimum, you'll get one of these. And I usually send like two of these in a kit. But if you want something specific, let me know, and I'll see if I can find a kit card for it. So I have Star Wars. I have Star Trek. And for Star Trek, I have Deep Space Nine. I've got Next Generation Enterprise. And I've got the original series Enterprise. And so I can do like any two of these. And I've made these much, much bigger, by the way. And so they will print much larger. It'd be a lot easier to fit together than previous versions I mailed out to folks. Or if you want holiday themed, I've got like Christmas tree ornaments or snowflake ornaments, and these can fit together. And so I can put some of those in a thing, or I've got toys. For the toys, I've got the catapult that we talked about earlier. So we've got a catapult kit that you can put together, and it basically just turns into a spring-loaded catapult, and it's all 3D printed. And so even the springs on here, let me move some of this out of the way. So these springs right here are also 3D printed, and it's in a filament that's a little bit like it'll kind of flex and give a little bit, and so it makes for a very nice spring action on here. And it'll fling dog treats across the room, or cat treats if you have a cat. Or I've got these kinds of like little 3D blocks, like these little puzzle blocks that you like fit together to make like a 3D shape of some kind, and you have to figure out the puzzle of like how do they actually fit together. Or I've got the infinite folding fidget cubes like this. They just like constantly fold on each other. These are a little bit thicker, so they're a little bit harder to mail. But I can also send you a fidget cube if you've got like color choice ideas. I can do some of those, or I can do one of those. So yeah, let me know in chat what you would like for the giveaway, Natty Man. I would like to switch to a private resume review if it's possible. Did you already send me a resume? You choose the catapult. Okay. Oh, Robo also is encouraging to choose the catapult. I mean, if you want the catapult, you can. So for some of them, you'll get to choose the color. If you choose Star Wars or Star Trek, I'll pick some appropriate colors for you. Natty Man, did you send me a resume? Or are you just saying like when you send me a resume, you want it to be private? If that's the case, let me know like when you submit the resume that you want a private review. Because telling me in chat here, I'm not going to remember. So okay, so go ahead and send that. But in the meantime, I also need to know like, do you want Star Wars, Star Trek, a toy, or a holiday theme kit card, so that I can do some more follow up. So let me know in chat. You're holding us up. Let me know. Let me know in chat what you'd like. And while you do that, I'm gonna go look some other stuff up myself. All right, so you want the toy. So for the toy, you'll get to choose catapult, fidget cube, or the little 3D puzzle. So let me know which of those you would like, and then we can talk colors. So you got the catapult, you got the fidget cube, or you have the 3D puzzle. Let me know which of those that you would prefer, Natty Man. Pantrax says the infinite cube is awesome. I previously made one 10 years ago with origami. Wow, that's awesome. I wouldn't even know how to start making this thing in origami. The nice thing about these is they actually come apart. So you actually print these in separate pieces. So you print the blocks and you print the hinges, and then they all just snap together. And then it just infinitely folds after that. Did that go in right? Yeah, it did. You want the catapult. Okay, so for catapult, you got to let me know what color you would like. So I have a silver, black, I've got that teal blue, I've got bright orange, I got pink, I got a silver, I've got a dark sparkly blue and a dark sparkly green. I don't know if I have any more red in PETG. Let me see what other colors I got. I got a translucent green, I got a dark sparkly green, I got a dark blue, I got sparkly dark blue, I've got yellow, purple, pink, bright orange, black, maybe some gray. I think I got some like gray, like a dark gray, like this dark gray. So let me know what color, and then that teal blue. Of course, I got that teal blue. He wants it in black, just plain old black, huh? All right, one black catapult coming up. I will do my best to get these to the post office tomorrow. If not, they will get there at some point throughout the week. So the next thing I need from you, Natty Man, is I need you to send me a Twitch whisper with your name and your address so that I know where to send it. And then I will send you tracking information after that. So you would like a black catapult. Cool. So yeah, send me a Twitch whisper with your name and your address, and I will get that mailed out as soon as I get it printed. I will get that over to the post office and sent your direction. Cool. Thanks for entering all the giveaways and the drawings and stuff throughout the month. We got tomorrow left for the giveaways, and then we'll get into the big giveaway. You got a thinking face, Natty Man. Now I'm curious what your thinky face is all about. Are you changing your mind, or you got something else going on? Or are you hoping for a resume review? I mean, if you want a resume review, oh, you wanted a private resume review, so that won't happen on stream, so we won't worry about that. Cool. Well, I think we're otherwise good for the day. So thank you everyone for hanging out. If you have any last questions or anything about interview prep or career advice or anything like that that I can offer, I'm happy to do that. Happy to hang out for a little bit. Otherwise, I've got a raid target in mind. I think we'll go raid somebody. They're doing some API development. I'm always a big fan of building APIs. So we'll go nerd out on somebody. So cool, Wizard. Good to have you back in chat as well. So yeah, let's do a raid, and we'll see you all sometime tomorrow. So I'll raid at some point tomorrow, and we'll do one last stream, and then those will be the last entries. And after that, I'll be like changing the code to not take any more entries, and everybody else will just be. Oh, is a private resume on video chat? It can be if you want it to be. I can do it over a Zoom call if you like, or like Google Meet, where I can like share the screen and like I can show you things. Or if we can't figure out a scheduled time to do that, then I'll just make a recording and I'll just send you a link to the recording. So yeah, so for the resume reviews, for the private resume reviews, generally what I'll do is I'll do a recording. I'll actually use OBS like this, where I'll record as if I was live streaming, but it'll be this screen. So there won't be live chat or anything like that, but you'll still see the resume and so on. But I'll probably be going back and forth with like showing you how I would actually make changes to the resume. But this is basically the screen that I use to make the private review videos for that. So if we can't coordinate a time to do it live, I'll just record it for you and just send you a link to the recording. And it's a private link, so no one else will see it. It doesn't get published on YouTube or anything like that. I do put it on Google Drive, and then you access it from there. But it's private; only you and I get access to it. If you want it private, and yeah, if you are working in the industry, I do ask you to cover the $50, just because it's going into that pot of money. It's not going into my pocket whatsoever. It goes into that pool of money, and then I match all that money. So happy to do all that. We're hoping to raise $1,500 by the end of the year. I know economically it's going to be a little tight getting to the end of the year, so we'll see what we can do. I'm not going to change the goal because we might surprise ourselves. But let's see what we can do there, and then we'll give that money away at the end of the year for someone else. All right, well, let's go set up a raid. We're gonna go raid into Xcoding. So Xcoding is someone new that I've been following, and they're doing some. Looks like they're doing some API development in C# today. So we're gonna go raid over to their channel. So appreciate you hanging out with me for the raid. Go make some noise over there. Give them a follow as well. Catch you all tomorrow on the stream. Thanks for dropping by. We'll catch you next time.